My girlfriend of 6 years had no intention of marrying me, I drunkenly joked with her. If on the 100th proposal you still don't agree, then I won't want you anymore. On the 99th proposal, she still didn't take it seriously. The last proposal coincided with a friend's birthday party. When I arrived at their private room, I was about to push the door open and ask if she wanted to marry me. When I saw her hugging a college student with a 10-pack, the private room fell silent for 5 seconds. Everyone knew I loved her with my life, yet she brought her new lover, Lin Feng. Our feelings for each other have faded long ago. Fang Yuan is a good guy. I want to give him a proper status. I nodded numbly. Okay, she said again. If you have any difficulties in the future, you can still find me. No need. I forced a smile. Since we've broken up, we should make a clean break. It's also fair to him. Liu Ruyan raised her eyebrows, seemingly a little surprised. I looked towards today's main character. Happy birthday. Have fun, everyone. I'm leaving first. I peeled the plate of tangerines on the table. Please eat them. Don't let them go to waste. Liu Ruyan doesn't like to eat fruit, except for tangerines, but she's picky. Every bit of white pith must be removed from each segment before she'll eat it, all these years, to get her to eat a fruit every day for vitamins. I always peeled them and removed the pith, arranging them carefully on a plate and presenting it to her. When Liu Ruyan was happy, she would hug me intimately and act cute. My boyfriend is the best. Why are you so good to me? Is it because you want to marry me? She always knew what I wanted, but never mentioned giving it to me. I'll have the driver take you home. No need. I've already called a car, Shen Jining said. Brother Feng, let me see you out. I waved him away, declining. I turned and left. Sister Ruyan, look at this mess. I think Brother Feng is really angry this time. It's not that serious. How many times have they argued? Every time doesn't Lin Feng come back obediently after a few days? At the next gathering, it's like nothing ever happened. This time, I bet 5 days, I bet 6 days. Liu Ruyan glanced at the ajar door and smiled coldly. I bet 3 hours. Hell, come back looking for me. That's right. Sister Liu is sure to win. The whole world knows I'm crazy in love with her. It was early morning when I got back to the villa. I spent half an hour packing my things. I've lived here for 3 years. The designer shirts in the closet that I've never worn, and the watches and accessories I've never worn. I didn't touch any of them. The only thing I regretted was that whole wall of specialized books. But fortunately, the contents are already in my head, so taking them with me isn't important anymore. My gaze swept over the dressing table. I walked over and pulled open the drawer. Inside was a check for a full 50 million. Under the check was a folder, the transfer contract for Lot 35, number 72 Dongjiao. Although it's in the suburbs, it's roughly estimated to be worth 20 million. Liu Ruyan had signed both of them. Previously, when we fought and were about to break up, Liu Ruyan had left them behind. They'd always been in the drawer. She was certain I wouldn't dare take them, because if I did, this relationship would be completely over. 70 million for 6 years? I suddenly felt it wasn't a bad deal. How many men's youth compensation can amount to this much? I put both things in my bag. Why not take what's being offered? The feelings are gone. At least there's still money. I'm not some foolish male lead from a domineering CO novel who treats money like dirt. I left the key at the entrance and took a taxi straight to my buddy's place. When Liu Ruyan got home, it was the middle of the night. The cleaner had already finished and left long ago. The strong smell of alcohol on her gave her a headache. She loosened her collar, planning to sit on the sofa for a while, but ended up falling asleep, waking up the next morning. The familiar sound of clattering dishes came from the kitchen. She threw off the blanket and sat up, rubbing her temples while reaching for a glass of water, but missed. Her hand stopped on the coffee table, then she smirked. He's back. He even covered me with a blanket. He didn't prepare any hangover tea for me. After all these years, isn't he tired of this half-hearted confrontation? Liu Ruyan stood up. You'd better not come back today, miss. You're awake. You should go wash your face first. Breakfast will be ready in 2 more minutes. Oh, right. Were you cold while sleeping? I turned on the heater, but I was still worried, so I added another blanket for you. Why isn't there millet porridge on the table? You mean the stomach-soothing porridge? Yes, the one Mr. Lin often cooks. Millet porridge with yam, lily bulb, and stewed with red dates, miss. I don't have time to prepare that. Just the lily bulb, quack seed, and red dates have to be soaked the night before. Then you have to wake up early the next morning to stew it. Besides, the heat is also very important. I'm not as patient as Mr. Lin. To be able to watch it constantly, it wouldn't taste the same even if I made it, Liu Ruyan said. Get me some beef sauce. Right away, miss. Why does it taste wrong? Liu Ruyan glanced at the jar. The jar is wrong too. The other jar is empty. This is the only kind left. Go to the supermarket later and buy 2 jars to keep at home. You can buy it. Aunt Zheng smiled a bit awkwardly. Mr. Lin makes this himself. I don't know how. Hey, miss, aren't you going to eat? Yeah. Aunt Zheng looked at the woman's back as she went upstairs, with a puzzled expression. Why did she suddenly get angry? Lin Feng, wake up. I rolled over without opening my eyes. Don't be noisy. It's almost 8 o'clock. Don't you need to go back and make breakfast for your Miss Liu? In the past, I'd occasionally stay the night, but I'd have to rush back before dawn to cook nourishing porridge for Liu Ruyan's bad stomach. I'm speechless about this. Is that Liu Ruyan disabled or something? Is it that hard to take out her phone and order delivery? She just has to torment people. To be blunt, she's just spoiled rotten. I was sleeping soundly, so I just waved my hand. We already broke up. How many days are you planning to be broken up this time? Then you can keep sleeping. Breakfast is on the table. I'm off to work. I have plans tonight. No need to cook for me. Never mind, you probably have to go back soon anyway. Remember to close the balcony window when you leave. I was woken up by hunger. I ate the sandwich my buddy made, looking at the bright sunlight outside the window. I couldn't remember the last time I slept, until I woke up naturally, after having breakfast for lunch. After changing into a different set of clothes, I went straight to the bank. First, I cashed the 50 million check, of course. Money is only reassuring when it's in your hands. Then I went to another bank next door and found the private banking manager. I want to deposit 10 million. In the end, the branch manager came out and gave me a pretty good annual interest rate. I asked for 2 more points, and we happily reached an agreement. Using the same tactic, I went to 2 other banks and deposited 10 million in each. The interest rate negotiated at each one was higher than the last. Stepping out of the last bank, I was now a minor tycoon holding black cards from 3 banks, with 30 million in deposits and a 20 million slush fund. This breakup is pretty good, huh? Became rich overnight, passing by a hair salon that was doing great business. I pushed open the door and went in, immediately bought a 2,000 yuan membership card to get priority and cut the line. Sitting down in front of the mirror, I saw myself with brown, curly hair, and for the first time, showed a look of disgust. Handsome. You take really good care of your hair. I kept my hair long because Liu Ruyan liked the romantic feeling. Every time after we were intimate, she loved to run her hands through my hair lingeringly, but a delicate curly hairstyle means spending more time on maintenance. I smiled and said to the hairdresser, "Please cut it short, straighten it, and dye it black." Leaving the hair salon, I felt a sense of relief all over. Coincidentally, there was a Uniqlo store next door having a sale. I went in and picked out a white t-shirt and a pair of jeans under the same night sky. Linjiang Villa. Director Liu, the bank has confirmed that Mr. Lin himself came in person to cash the 50 million check. The time was 12:24 this afternoon. Liu Ruyan hung up the phone and coldly looked at the night view outside the window. "Lin Feng, what new trick are you playing now? If you think you can hold on to me this way, then I'm afraid you've miscalculated. There's no turning back from a decision I've made. Zining, let's go out for a drink." Half an hour later, Liu Ruyan pushed open the door to the private room. Shen Zining was the first to run out, laughing to greet her. "Sister Ruyan, everyone's here. We were just waiting for you. What are we drinking tonight?" Liu Ruyan walked inside. Shen Zining didn't move. He looked behind her. "What are you spacing out for? Where's Brother Feng? Is he parking the car?" Liu Ruyan's expression darkened slightly. "Is it hard to find a parking spot? Let me go out and help." Noticing the woman's unhappy expression, Shen Zining finally realized. "Sister Ruyan, don't tell me Brother Lin still hasn't come back. It's been more than 3 hours." Liu Ruyan shrugged and spread her hands. "What's wrong? You thought breaking up was a joke?" After speaking, she walked past him and sat on the sofa. Shen Zining scratched his head. "No way, is it for real this time?" But he quickly shook his head, feeling he was overthinking it. He would believe it if you said Liu Ruyan could break up just like that. But while any man in the world could agree to a breakup, I couldn't. This was a universally acknowledged truth. "Ruyan, why did you come alone?" Gumeng Qi, who loved drama and wasn't afraid to stir the pot, crossed her arms with a smirk. "You bet 3 hours, and a day has already passed." Liu Ruyan pursed her lips. "I can take a loss. What's the penalty?" Gumeng Qi raised her eyebrows. "Let's change it up today. No drinking, you call Lin Feng, and in your sweetest voice say, 'I'm sorry, I was wrong, I love you.'" The people around them immediately roared with laughter. Shen Zining even snatched Liu Ruyan's phone. "Dial the number," after the beep. "Sorry, the number you have dialed is temporarily unavailable. He's been blocked." Liu Ruyan was slightly stunned. Everyone's laughter slowly died down. They started looking at each other. Shen Zining immediately hung up, handing back the phone while making an excuse. "Maybe the number really is unavailable. How could Brother Lin Feng block Sister Ruyan's number? Unless pigs fly. Haha." By the end of his sentence, even he felt awkward. Gumeng Qi looked thoughtful. "Maybe Lin Feng is serious this time." Liu Ruyan scoffed. "If the breakup isn't real, could it possibly be fake? I don't want to play this game a second time. From now on, if anyone dares to mention Lin Feng again, don't blame me for being ruthless." Gumeng Qi narrowed her eyes slightly. After a moment, she squeezed out a sentence. "Just make sure you don't regret it." Liu Ruyan smirked dismissively. "I never regret my actions. I drank a bit too much last night." When Liu Ruyan was driven back to the villa, it was already dawn. She had originally collapsed onto the bed, overwhelmed by sleepiness, but still forced herself to take a shower. This time, Lin Feng probably won't scold me, right? In her daze, Liu Ruyan thought unconsciously. She opened her eyes again because she was woken by pain. She clutched her stomach with one hand as she crawled out of bed. Stomachache. Lin Feng. The moment that name left her lips, she stopped abruptly. Liu Ruyan frowned. "You're really something? You've got more guts than last time. Let's see how long you can hold out. But where's the medicine?" Liu Ruyan went to the living room and turned everything upside down. She searched every cabinet that could hold things but still couldn't find the spare medicine box in the house. She called Aunt Zhang. "The medicine! It's in the medicine box!" Liu Ruyan's temples throbbed. She took a deep breath. "Where's the medicine box?" "There are several boxes in the drawer of the bedroom's dressing room," Mr. Lin said. "That you drink a lot, and you often get a stomachache when you wake up the next morning, so we put the medicine in the bedroom for convenience." "Hello? Hello, are you still there?" Why did she hang up? Liu Ruyan went to the dressing room and, sure enough, found the medicine box in the drawer. Underneath were all the stomach medicines she usually took. A full 5 boxes. After taking the medicine, the pain subsided. Her tense nerves began to relax. She casually pushed the drawer shut. Suddenly, The woman's movement froze. Watches, accessories, luxury brand belts. Not a single one of these items was missing, but all of my documents in the drawer, including ID card, passport, certificates, diplomas, were all gone. Looking again at the pile of suitcases in the corner, sure enough, one was missing. Liu Ruyan stood rooted to the spot. An unprovoked anger rushed to her head. Good, 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 very good. She said the word good 3 times in a row, nodding as she spoke. Indeed, men can't be spoiled. The more you spoil them, the bigger their temper gets. Just then, the sound of a door opening suddenly came from downstairs. Liu Ruyan immediately went downstairs. Why is it you? Liu Tian was changing his shoes. Hearing this, he was a little surprised. Who else would it be? Liu Ruyan walked to the sofa and sat down, looking displeased. What are you doing here? I heard from Aunt Zhang that you have a stomachache, so wasn't I ordered by Her Majesty, our mother, to come visit and care for my dear sister? Liu Tian said as he walked towards the kitchen. I haven't had lunch yet, so I came by to freeload a meal. Another reason he had a good impression of me was because my cooking was too delicious. However, half a minute later, Sis, why is it so dead in here? Where's Lin Feng? He's not home today? No way. Usually by this time, he would have finished cooking and be waiting for you to come downstairs to eat. I was lucky. I could get a meal too. Lin Feng again. Liu Ruyan rubbed her temples, not wanting to deal with him. Liu Tian came out of the kitchen with a disappointed look. Is he not feeling well? I saw him at the hospital yesterday. He didn't look too good. You saw him at the hospital? Liu Ruyan instinctively sat up straight. Yes, yesterday I went to Zijing Hospital to visit Professor Yu Yang and saw Lin Feng at the entrance of the inpatient area. Sis, let me tell you, Professor Yu Yang has agreed to give me a spot on the live stream. Liu Ruyan frowned. Why was he at the hospital? Are you asking me? If you don't even know, how would I know? Liu Ruyan said nothing. Maybe he wasn't sick, he was just visiting someone else. But I've never heard of Lin Feng having any friends. His life, apart from you, is still you. Are you done? If you're done, then hurry up and leave. I haven't even woken up properly yet. Liu Tian stood up. No way, you're trying to kick me out like this? Fine, I'll go. Liu Tian angrily put on his shoes. Oh right, I came here on a mission today. Liu Ruyan had no desire to listen and went straight upstairs. 2 p.m. tomorrow. Xi'an restaurant. Mom arranged a blind date for you. Don't be late. So talkative. Liu Tian made a face at her back before leaving. Regarding this arrangement, he had long since gotten used to it. After all, being with me and looking for a well-matched marriage partner weren't contradictory. His sister had attended many such occasions over the years, although most of the time it was just for show, to deal with their mother. After sending Liu Tian away, Liu Ruyan went to her study to handle company matters. In the early years, to escape her family's control, she started her own business. The first 3 years were really difficult, and she didn't want to accept help from her family. I was the only one by her side. Only in the last 2 years has she made a name for herself, with her own company, finally shedding the label of a rich second generation. At this point, her family's attitude had softened, and they started to actively get closer to her. This could be seen from how they went from vehemently opposing her being with me, to now turning a blind eye and tacitly agreeing. It was obvious, after finishing her work, the sun had already set. Dusk had fallen outside the window, and the city lights were on. Only then did Liu Ruyan feel hungry. She took out her phone and called her pretty boy boyfriend. What are you doing? A bell rang in the background, followed by the young man's low voice. Babe, sorry. I'm in class. I'll come find you later. That babe made Liu Ruyan cringe. You're busy, she said, and hung up. She tossed the phone aside. Half a minute later, someone called. Liu Ruyan didn't look, and continued working, until her stomach started protesting. She had to leave her study. She arranged to have dinner with Shen Zining and the others. Liu Ruyan changed clothes, preparing to go out. The young man sitting by the door heard the noise, and immediately jumped up and turned around, smiling brightly and shyly. Fang Yuan, I'm sorry, I knocked, you probably didn't hear, so I had to wait here. He glanced at the coat Liu Ruyan had draped over her arm. Are you going out? Liu Ruyan didn't answer. She just frowned and asked, How did you find this place? The pretty boy boyfriend immediately looked a little guilty. I asked your friend Shen Zining, Liu Ruyan said. Come in first. A smile returned to the young man's face as he entered, looking around while complaining pitifully. After you hung up, you didn't answer my calls. I was so worried. Don't you have to go to class? I skipped it. My girlfriend is more important. I wouldn't be like that. Back when I was pursuing her, I was just a freshman at the time. My schedule was packed and demanding, but I never skipped or ditched class for her. After we got together, and since my senior year had fewer classes, I gradually had more free time to be with her. Honey, you haven't eaten, have you? Do you know how to make stomach-soothing porridge? Liu Ruyan asked, as if possessed. Stomach-soothing porridge. No, but I can learn. Subtly rejecting her young boyfriend's hint to stay the night after finishing the takeout he brought, Liu Ruyan drove him back to school. Only then did she go look for Shen Zining. While waiting at a red light on the way, she glanced at her phone. She remembered Liu Tian saying he saw me at the hospital during the day. Even though they had broken up, the years of affection were still there. Even ordinary friends should show some concern. She opened WeChat. Are you sick? Immediately after, a request appeared for a friend confirmation message. Sister Ruyan, what's wrong? Shen Zining glanced at the woman drinking her sorrows away. He quietly sidled up next to Gu Mengqi. Just a moment ago when she came in, Liu Ruyan's face was already dark. The originally lively atmosphere died down a bit. She got blocked by someone, what else? Gu Mengqi, knowing the situation, added fuel to the fire, enjoying the drama without fear of making it worse. As her voice reached her, Liu Ruyan's face grew even darker. Clink, the wine glass slammed onto the glass table. Annoyed, she poured herself another glass of wine, with a hint of anger. I told you not to mention him again. Can't you understand what I'm saying? Gu Mengqi shrugged, not saying anything more. The atmosphere changed. The person singing knew better and went silent. The people around also quieted down, not daring to say anything else. Shen Zining choked on a mouthful of wine. Brother Feng is serious this time. The bartender brought 6 bottles of liquor. Someone dared to shout, "Let's play truth or dare, how about it?" They were all clever people. Everyone in this group brought their own people. A simple wink was all it took to understand. They immediately jumped in to liven up the atmosphere, to ease the awkwardness. A dare is a great idea. I love dares the most. A man walked in just then. Coincidentally, our sister Ruyan is missing a person. The man was pushed down to sit next to Liu Ruyan. He was the top male model at this club, but it wasn't the first time he'd entertained Liu Ruyan. He rubbed against Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan stood up, her expression uninterested. You guys have fun. I'm heading out. Leaving behind the stunned crowd and the model who had just lost out on his exorbitant service fee for the night. Leaving the bar, the driver asked Liu Ruyan in the back seat where she wanted to go. After 2 glasses of brandy, her head was spinning, remembering the empty villa, to the office. At 10 p.m., the assistant was preparing to leave work. Just as she finished tidying up her things, she saw Liu Ruyan stepping out of the elevator. The assistant's surprised expression made her mood even more irritable. Usually at this time, I'd worry about his irregular lifestyle and always reminded him to sleep early. If he didn't agree, I'd rush over and act cute. Although I'd say it was annoying, in the end, I would still obediently lie down. Are you about to leave work? Yes. Do you have any other instructions? Liu Ruyan was about to say no, but she hadn't eaten anything in the afternoon and had drunk 2 glasses of wine. A sharp pain shot through her stomach. Her face paled slightly. Go buy me some porridge. She thought for a moment and added, it has to be from the best restaurant. The assistant was very efficient. 20 minutes later, she brought the lunchbox, exquisitely packaged, to Liu Ruyan. But as soon as she opened it, she couldn't help but frown. Why is it seafood porridge? The assistant looked bewildered. The most famous dish at Bigui Yuan is the seafood porridge. Never mind. Get out. The seafood porridge had a great color, aroma, and taste. The first bite had a light fragrance, a fresh sweetness of the seafood, but she had only taken a few bites when she lost her appetite and put it down. Liu Ruyan subconsciously remembered the millet porridge I used to make. Damn it, she really was obsessed. From the hospital back to the apartment, I fumbled for the switch on the wall and flipped it on. I immediately heard a series of suggestive gasps. The lights blazed on. Before me was Zhou Ye in a loose set of pajamas, getting intimate with a young woman. The 2 of them were right on the sofa, an unbearable sight to behold. Zhou Ye was blinded by the light. His face still held a hint of bewilderment. He reflexively stopped the girl's attempt to kiss him. Lin Feng, you're back? You 2 should get dressed first. The corner of my mouth twitched. Knowing better, I immediately turned my back, giving them time to get dressed. I sighed. I was afraid I couldn't stay at Zhou Ye's place for long. No matter how close brothers are, they still have their privacy. Living together long-term would be inconvenient for both of us. But Zhou Ye just smirked casually, not caring at all about what had just happened. He casually pulled up the pajama sleeve that had slipped down his arm and put on a coat. He then picked up the woman's coat from the floor and tossed it to her. The girl's eyes were still a little red. Zhou Ye gently patted her face to comfort her. Be good, wait for me in the bedroom. The beautiful girl obediently picked up her clothes and smiled generously at me. Hello, good evening, I replied reflexively. Hello, Kevin. The girl chuckled, said nothing, and went into the room. Zhou Ye poured himself a glass of red wine and took a sip. The fragrant sweetness mixed with a slight bitterness spread on his tongue. He cleared his throat in satisfaction. Then he slowly corrected me. This one's name is Steven, not Kevin. Where have you been to come back so late? Zhou Ye saw that my eyes were a little red and frowned slightly. What's wrong with you? I poured myself a glass of warm water and said listlessly, I went to the hospital to visit Professor Ouyang today. We were university friends and both students of Professor Ouyang. Zhou Ye was still in the university's WeChat group, so he had heard about it. He secretly glanced at me, hesitating as he opened his mouth. In the past, I was Professor Ouyang's most valued student. Others might not know, but as my roommate and closest brother, he had seen with his own eyes the professor, tutoring me alone for a project, and even taking me along to write his thesis. You have to know that I was still an undergraduate at the time. Professor Ouyang wasn't even my official advisor, yet he was willing to give me so many academic resources. If I had followed the path Professor Ouyang laid out for me and moved forward steadily without any surprises, within 5 years, I had a chance to become the youngest PhD in biological sciences in the country. Even now, Zhou Ye still couldn't understand why I gave up my studies. Recalling the professor's favor towards me, I couldn't help but feel emotional. Perhaps some people get things too easily, so they don't know how to cherish them. Geniuses have the right to be capricious. I heard the professor's illness is quite serious this time. How's the recovery after the surgery? Zhou Ye asked, seeing me shake my head. Ye was so angry he laughed. What kind of hospital visit did you even make? You don't know anything about the patient's condition. I didn't dare to go in. Such a coward? Seeing my expression, Ye couldn't hold back. You deserve it. My eyes trembled, but I said nothing. Ye saw my stubborn look and realized. The breakfast dishes from this morning were actually for the professor. Are you planning to keep this up forever? I, who was always brave and decisive, was now so cowardly I didn't dare to show my face. I'm still clear-headed. The professor and I have to meet sooner or later. Some people, and some things, can't be solved by avoiding them. The next second, I looked up. Brother Ye, can you go with me to see the professor? What do you want to do? I need to formally apologize for the impulsiveness and irrationality of that year. This is what I owe him. Ye almost choked on his wine. He coughed a few times, his face full of refusal. Give me a break. Bro, it's not like you don't know. The only course I failed and had to retake in university was Professor Ouyang's elective. I get scared just seeing him. Besides, for an insignificant person like me, the professor has probably forgotten who I am. I really can't help you. I saw him avoiding it like the plague, so I didn't press him further. But a cunning glint flashed in Ye's eyes. He changed the subject. I have a suitable person in mind. Do you remember my cousin Ye? I took a sip of water from my glass and nodded. Of course I remember Ye, the youngest leader in the country's physics field. Last year, Nature magazine selected the 10 most influential young scientists in the world, and she was at the top of the list. She was Professor Ouyang's student in university, studying applied biological sciences. 5 sci papers in 2 years, the biology community had high hopes for her, praising her as a genius. Then, for some unknown reason, she suddenly had a strange idea, changed her major, and went off to study physics. It caused quite a stir back then. The truth has proven that people who are brilliant in whatever field they choose, good at everything. Ye is now an important figure in the international physics community. Ye and I went to the same school but were in different years, so I'm considered her junior. I had heard legends about Ye as soon as I enrolled. Only after getting to know Ye did I learn that Ye was his cousin. For the past few years, she's been working at a physics research institute abroad and only returned to the country 3 months ago. My cousin asked about the professor's condition just 2 days ago. She just didn't have the time. It would be perfect for you two to go together. The more Ye spoke, the more it made sense, so he directly called Ye. The phone rang twice before someone answered. I heard a clear voice come through, carrying a hint of coldness. What's up? Ye explained briefly. It sounded a bit noisy on the other end. She seemed very busy. She hung up in less than a minute. All set. My sister wants to meet you tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock at the West Bank restaurant to talk. Ye patted my shoulder. Just get a good night's sleep tonight. We'll talk about the rest tomorrow. I nodded. Thanks. I got it. The next day, I left half an hour early. When I arrived at the restaurant, I raised my hand to check my watch. It was 2 minutes to 2 o'clock. Not too early, not too late, just right. I pushed the door and walked in. The waiter led me for a short distance, and when I looked up, I saw the woman sitting by the window. Her head was tilted, indifferently drinking her coffee. A black one-piece dress, with a pair of gold-rimmed glasses on the bridge of her nose. The sunlight shone on her tilted cheek like a solitary oil painting. Looking at myself, a simple black t-shirt and jeans, a bare face with no makeup, it was indeed a bit too casual. Sensing my gaze, the woman turned her head. Have a seat. Anything to drink? Her cold voice carried a slight numbness that gently entered my ears. I came back to my senses and pulled out a chair to sit opposite her. Sorry to have kept you waiting. My obsidian black pupils carried a hint of apology. Ye pushed up her glasses and said indifferently, Not long, I was only 5 minutes early. The lab still has some data sets to process, so I can only give you 30 minutes today. Is that enough? That's enough. The waiter came over. I ordered a glass of lemonade. Ye elegantly got straight to the point. About visiting Professor Ouyang, what do you want me to do? Surprisingly direct. I really liked this no-nonsense attitude. I slowly explained my purpose. Professor Ouyang has already been discharged. I don't know his current address, so I was hoping you could take me to visit him at his home. If possible. My eyes glinted. When the professor gets angry, could you help talk him down a bit? You know, getting angry is bad for his health. Hearing this, the woman seemed to smirk slightly. I continued speaking. I know you're very busy, so you can decide on the time. Ye nodded. All right, 2 days from now then. I thanked her. I picked up my lemonade and suddenly asked a question. Why are you willing to help me? Ye's dark eyes looked at me for a long time. Just when I thought she wouldn't answer, the woman spoke. Because you are Lin Feng, Professor Ouyang once said. The woman took a sip of coffee and said slowly. In his entire life, he has had 3 regrets. 1 is that scientific research is vast, but life is too short. 2 is having no children. 3 is Lin Feng. I was stunned, my fingertips digging deep into my palm. Ye's somewhat sharp gaze looked straight at me, a glint of deep scrutiny and appraisal flashing in her eyes, but it quickly returned to tranquility. This was the first time she had met me, but not the first time she had heard this name. A young man who could make Professor Ouyang call him a regret and place him on par with life, scientific research, and family. What was so special about him after all? My throat felt dry. I lowered my head slightly. I could even imagine the disappointed and regretful look in his eyes when he mentioned me. Joya took out a piece of paper and wrote down a series of numbers. This is my phone number. I glanced at it, a very beautiful regular script. Here's your tiramisu. As the waiter put the order down, he couldn't help but size up the table before him. The woman's beautiful face held a hint of distraction, and a trace of impatience lurked in her eyes. The man opposite her wore a high-end Dior suit and carried a black Hermes briefcase. One look and you could tell he was a rich young master from a noble family. He seemed completely oblivious to the woman's annoyance, his mouth chattering on and on. Ruyan, I heard from Auntie Liu that your stomach isn't well. Our family has a doctor who specializes in stomach problems. When the time comes. Liu Ruyan toyed with her glass, occasionally responding with a few words. Today's blind date was arranged by Mrs. Shu Yukin. Since she was already here, she didn't intend to make things too ugly. It was just that she had no interest in what the man was saying. Her gaze drifted to a spot not far away, and suddenly her vision froze. She abruptly sat up straight. 4 or 5 seats away, I was sitting opposite a woman. She couldn't hear what they were saying, but she could see the faint smile on my face. The sounds in her ear, which were barely tolerable before, suddenly became noisy. This made her mood even more irritable. Liu Ruyan sneered and looked away. I have to go. Joya's time was very tight. Sparing 30 minutes was already her limit. I showed my understanding. As the two of them stood up to leave the restaurant, I took a step forward, held the door with my hand, and gestured for Joya to go first, very gentlemanly. Joya smiled. Thanks. The two walked to the roadside. My car is here. I nodded. See you the day after tomorrow. I stood there watching her leave, and I retracted my gaze. The moment I turned around, I was unexpectedly faced with a pair of eyes that were half smiling, half not, filled with ridicule and coldness. Found a new one so quickly? Getting closer to Liu Ruyan, she realized that I now had a neat, short haircut, and the hairstyle she liked most had been changed. No styling and no accessories. A simple black t-shirt, completely plain. Only his eyes seemed a bit brighter than before, showing no sign of the gloom and devastation of someone heartbroken. If this was an act, then Liu Ruyan had to admit I was a pretty good actor, so good that I had successfully angered her. I frowned. I knew her too well. This expression was a sign she was about to get angry. I just heard the woman scoff. But your taste isn't that great. After being with me for so many years, you should at least have some standards. Don't just pick up any stray cat or dog. Otherwise, where would this ex-girlfriend's pride be? Pride? I suddenly found it a bit amusing. It's just that the smile held a hint of sorrow. Unfortunately, Liu Ruyan didn't notice. Right now, her mind was filled with the image of me, smiling gently at another woman. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. She attributed this feeling to a female's territorial instinct. This territory of mine had once been occupied by her. Even if she didn't want it anymore, she wouldn't allow those low-class flirts to come and mess around. I have things to do. I am leaving. I didn't want to hear her talk anymore. Go. Where can you go? Joe. Yes, apartment? That's the only place you have to go. But you're quite tough this time, taking the check and the documents with you. Fine, you want to play, right? My heart ached. I had long been used to her bad temper, which could even be described as tyrannical and violent. But when I actually heard those words, I still couldn't help but feel a little hurt. She thought I was just playing around. I slowed my breathing, trying to regulate my emotions. Then I smirked. First, Ms. Joe and I are just ordinary friends. It's not as sordid as you think. Besides, we've already broken up. What you want to think is your business. Just then, the taxi I called arrived. I opened the car door and got in. Driver, please drive. Liu Ruyan scoffed. You're really getting more and more capable. During their fight 3 months ago, I wasn't above using this tactic to threaten her. This time was great. He directly brought a strange woman in front of her. How dare he? Suddenly, a pair of strong hands wrapped around her slender waist. Ito Makoto leaned in closer to her, seemingly unintentionally. Liu Ruyan, why did you leave just like that without waiting for me at all? A strong smell of sweat wafted over. Liu Ruyan couldn't help but frown, but she didn't push him away. Instead, she took the man's arm. What, you want to come with me? Are you the only one who knows how to find women? Don't I know how to find men? In the car, I watched the intimate couple in the rearview mirror. Suddenly, he smirked self-deprecatingly. It turns out it wasn't just about Fang Yuan but the entire 6 years. It turns out it was all fed to the dogs. In his sight, the taxi gradually drove away. Liu Ruyan's expression changed. She coldly pushed Itu Makoto's hand away. Itu Makoto didn't know what was wrong with her. He wanted to get closer again. But the next second, he was ruthlessly pushed away. The woman left without looking back. No way, Ruyan. Liu Ruyan, stop right there. The man gritted his teeth in anger. Liu Ruyan got into her car. Just as she started the engine, she called Liu Tian. Sis, aren't you on a blind date? Liu Ruyan gritted her teeth. The fact that I was at the Xi'an restaurant today. Did you tell Lin Feng? Can you be a little smarter? You tell outsiders everything. You didn't help me hide the fact that I was on a blind date, and you even leaked the news to him so he could deliberately find a woman to provoke me. Can't you use your brain a little? You do all sorts of stupid things. Liu Tian was startled by her suddenly high-pitched voice. It wasn't me, sis. What are you talking about? Why am I getting scolded for no reason? He looked at the phone that had been hung up. He was speechless for a moment. No way. What did I even do? I didn't let him stay angry for too long. The butler brought over the gift list. Young master, do you think this is enough? Liu Tian glanced at it. It's all good stuff. Then he carefully confirmed it again. After finding no mistakes, he nodded in satisfaction. These things are for Professor Wu Yang. Be careful when you prepare them. There absolutely can't be any mistakes, you hear? Mr. Lin, this is the best apartment near University B. Look at the lighting and the environment. So many people are waiting to rent it. If you don't decide quickly, perhaps even this apartment will be gone. The real estate agent enthusiastically introduced. I looked around everywhere. The house isn't big, 2 bedrooms and 1 living room. The decoration is also from over 10 years ago. It's old, dilapidated, and small. It's also a traditional walk-up building, but the advantages are also very clear. Not only is it close to University B, there's also a library next to it. The transportation is also very convenient. Most importantly, the lighting and environment are really good. If I want to start over, this is definitely the most suitable place. Okay, I'll rent it. I'll sign a 1-year contract. When Zhou Ye got back, he saw an open suitcase on the floor. Are you planning to move out? I'm packing my clothes. Yeah, I found a place. Zhou, you said, oh. I guess Liu Ruyan came looking for you. Not bad. This time you'll last at least a week. You have to ignore those women for a while, or else they'll take you for granted. Who do they think they are? My actions paused. Our eyes met. Brother Ye, this time Liu Ruyan and I have really broken up. I'm not going back. Zhou Ye was stunned for a moment. He suddenly started to believe it. For the past 6 years, he had watched me bit by bit because of Liu Ruyan, hide my true self. The halo around me also grew dimmer day by day, becoming a house husband who only revolves around a woman? No. A house husband without even a license to practice. So what does that count as? What am I, Lin Feng? That bitch Liu Ruyan, she's completely trampling on others. Breaking up is the right thing to do. It should have been like this long ago. There are so many women in this world. It's not like she, Liu Ruyan, is the only one. But, are you sure it's for real this time? You're not going to go running back in 2 days, are you? I chuckled. When I was on my way back, I stopped by the market. The old house. The wall paint had peeled off quite a bit. The furniture was like old antiques. I planned to buy some eco-friendly paint first, to repaint the house. Driver, thank you for your trouble. The driver helped me carry several large cans, one by one from the trunk. I looked up. The 7th floor, I can only climb it myself. If I want to repaint the walls, then the furniture in the house naturally has to be moved. It's a good time to rearrange the layout. I just opened the door. First, I carried the paint cans up one by one. The cans weren't light. I was panting. It took a lot of effort. I rolled up my sleeves and started working. It's been a long time since I've had this feeling of working with my own hands. During the years with Liu Ruyan, it's not to say I was completely pampered, but I've never really done this kind of manual labor, even a few years ago, when she was just starting her business and money was tight. But the weekly house cleaning was always done by a hired hourly maid. After finishing 1 can of paint, I rubbed my slightly sore back, being spoiled for a few years. I'm really not used to this. I went out to the hallway to bring in the rest of the paint. Unexpectedly, my foot was 1 step ahead. I kicked the can over, although I managed to save it in time. A small puddle still spilled in front of the neighbor's door. I hurriedly grabbed a mop and had cleaned up half of it. The door that was tightly shut suddenly opened. Our eyes met. I was about to apologize when I unexpectedly ran into someone I knew. You live here too? Why is it you? The two of them spoke almost in unison. Zhou Ya glanced down at her feet. Her gaze then shifted to behind me. So you're the one who moved in today. I didn't expect such a coincidence either. As you can see, starting from today, we're neighbors. Zhou Ya's eyes flickered slightly. The reason she chose to live here was because this place is very close to the lab and the university, convenient for her teaching, and for going to the lab for daily experiments. What about me? Why am I? It's obvious to the naked eye. The environment here isn't suitable for someone like me, not to mention other things, just the fact that there's no elevator. This point already makes it not a choice for young people. I saw that she wasn't moving. I thought she was annoyed because I dirtied the hallway. I'm sorry, I spilled a little paint earlier. It'll be done in a second. I sped up and cleaned it up very quickly. As I was going downstairs, I pointed to the trash bag next to her. Since I'm going downstairs anyway, I can take it down for you. Zhou, you didn't refuse. In return, she brought out a stepladder from her house. If you want to paint the walls, using this will be more convenient. Thanks. With the ladder, the efficiency of painting the walls was much faster. In just 1 morning, I had repainted all the peeling patches of wall in the house. After it immediately became clean and tidy, I went to a furniture store to pick out a sofa and a table set. Then I briefly decorated the room. It was finally done. After finishing these things, it was almost dark. I punched my shoulder. I looked around. The warm yellow light shone down. The original old atmosphere had been swept away. The house felt new. It was like 2 different worlds compared to when I first arrived, looking at my small nest. Although the space is small, it has everything I need. Is this your new place? It looks pretty good. In the video call, Zhou Yi exclaimed, your DIY skills are still as amazing as ever. You truly live up to your reputation as someone who once single-handedly redecorated our entire dorm room. I smiled. It's all right. Of course, I have to put some effort into the place I live. Lin Feng, you're stronger than I thought. You found a new goal so quickly. When Zhou Yi heard the new address, he had already guessed some of it, but he didn't mention it, that you could come back. I'm really happy. After ending the call, I felt a little emotional. I came to my senses too late. Luckily, it's still salvageable. 6 o'clock, busy all day. I still haven't eaten anything. In the fridge, there's bread for sandwiches and fresh vegetables. There's also some millet. It's too late. I cooked some simple porridge and then made a sandwich. When I was returning the latter, I thought for a moment and packed a portion of porridge and a sandwich. Jo-ya was busy correcting experiment data for her thesis. Hearing a knock on the door, she left the study to open the door. Thank you for your stepladder, and this is the dinner I made. If you don't mind, please have some. Under the light, my eyes were bright and full of spirit. Jo-ya was stunned for a moment. She reached out, took the food, and said thank you. Back in her room, she adjusted the data again, comparing it with the results of previous experiment rounds to deduce. By the time she finished correcting everything, it was already 8 p.m. Her stomach was empty. She was starving. She habitually took out her phone to order takeout. She accidentally glanced at the food bag under the desk lamp. She opened it, and there was an insulated layer inside, so the sandwich and porridge were still warm. She took the sandwich and took a bite. She couldn't help but be stunned. The aroma of bacon combined with the freshness of the vegetables. In the middle, there was also a perfectly cooked sunny-side-up egg. The fresh, sweet taste gave her a good appetite. After finishing the sandwich, she scooped up a spoonful of millet porridge. The taste was much simpler and more refined than most of the porridge she had ever bought. After a few bites, her stomach also felt warm. Jo-ya's lips curled into a happy smile. If anyone knew her, they would understand. This was her state of enjoyment. Not bad at cooking. In a flash, the porridge and sandwich had been finished cleanly by her. 10 o'clock, Jo. Ya finished her night run. She ran into me on her way back. Going for a walk? You're on a night run? The two of us spoke in unison. I nodded. Yeah, just going for a walk and picking up a package. She slowed down, adjusting her breathing, and walked parallel to me. Thank you for dinner tonight. It was delicious. You've helped me twice. I should be the one thanking you. 2 gravel paths away, there was a children's park. The noise of children nearby was particularly clear. This place is quite lively. Liu Ruyan's villa was always eerily quiet. Jo-ya followed my gaze. She had been here for over 2 months, but she rarely paid attention to these things. Recalling the message she received when she went out, she said casually, I just asked my junior. Professor Ouyang has been resting at home recently. I plan to go over there at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Is that okay? 10 a.m. tomorrow? So soon. We're almost there. I thought about the professor I hadn't seen in 6 years. I suddenly felt a little nervous. Is there a problem? No. Jo-ya glanced at my cheek. Although she sensed my emotional change, she didn't ask much. She doesn't like prying into other people's private matters. The two parted at their doors and went into their own apartments. I absent-mindedly took a shower and lay down to coax myself to sleep. It started to drizzle in the middle of the night. I tossed and turned all night and didn't sleep well. I woke up very early. After breakfast, I waited for Jo-ya. At 10 o'clock, a knock sounded right on time. I immediately opened the door. My appearance was already neat and tidy. Jo-ya was stunned for 2 seconds. Let's go. I'll go first. The woman walked one step behind. Compared to last night's anxiety, I had clearly returned to normal. Jo-ya drove over. I got into the passenger seat. On the way, we passed a fruit supermarket. I suddenly spoke up. Can we stop for a moment? It'll only take 2 minutes. I want to get out and buy some fruit. Fruit? Yeah, for the professor. Jo-ya held the steering wheel, a little confused. Is it necessary to be so troublesome? I suddenly found it a bit funny. Do you always go to someone's house as a guest empty-handed? Seeing Jo-ya nod honestly, I secretly gave her a thumbs up. Awesome. Perhaps geniuses don't bother with such trivialities. That being said, the woman still pulled the car over. Aoyang Wenqiu lived in a place, not far from University B, on Huanshan Road. Small Western-style villas, a design combining Chinese and Western styles. Detached houses, simple without losing depth. After passing through a maple forest, you can see the residence. It's been 6 years. I clutched the seatbelt in my hand. I looked at the fruit basket at my feet, and suddenly felt timid. Jo-ya sensed something. Not getting out of the car, I gritted my teeth. I want to wait a bit. The woman looked at me for 2 seconds, and nodded. Then I'll go in first. I was grateful that she didn't ask anything, watching the woman leave. I took 2 deep breaths. Only then did I unbuckle my seatbelt and get out of the car. In this season, 100 flowers bloom. As soon as I stepped into the small yard, the faint fragrance of flowers drifted in with the wind. The lush green vegetable patches by the fence. Perhaps because the owner was sick, there was no one to take care of them, so they looked withered. Before I even reached the door, I heard the professor's voice. My heart trembled slightly. I hurriedly followed Jo-ya. Professor, Ouyang Wenqiu put down the latest issue of a biology journal, pushing up her reading glasses. Ah, Jo-ya, why have you come? Jo-ya stepped forward to support her. The two slowly walked inside. I came to see if your health has improved. It's just a minor illness. There's no need for you all to come here one after another. She patted Jo-ya's hand. I've made you all worry. I'm fine. Nothing's wrong. Jo-ya thought for a moment. I also brought someone with me today. Ouyang Wenqiu looked puzzled. She followed her gaze. I appeared at the entrance, standing there obediently with my head down, like a child who had done something wrong. Ouyang Wenqiu's pupils contracted. She subconsciously took 2 steps forward, but very quickly, the surprise and joy that flickered in her eyes turned into intentional coldness and complexity. What are you doing here? Her face was stern. Professor, I was a little flustered. Young Wen-Q spoke. Her expression was emotionless. Who was it that kept saying they wanted to pursue love? That they could defy everything for love? What are you doing here now? The corners of my mouth tightened. Tears also streamed down. Professor, I'm sorry. I've disappointed you. What else? It was rare to see Young Wen-Q so serious. Also, I was wrong. After a moment's hesitation, I mumbled another sentence. Is it still not too late? Finally, Young Wen-Q sighed. Her expression gradually softened. You know how long I've waited for you? 6 years. A full 6 years. My eyes filled with tears, choked with emotion. I didn't know. You were always waiting for me? It's good that you've thought it through. It's just that behind this realization. Who knows how much grievance and hardship is hidden? Young Wen-Kia's face showed a look of pity. The bridge of my nose tingled. Unable to hold it back anymore, I ran and hugged Professor Ouyang tightly. Her dry and soft hand patted my back gently. Young Wen-Kia's heart also gradually softened. All right, you're this old and still such a crybaby. People will laugh at you. Joya stood by, silently watching the whole process. When the two of us hugged and reconciled with each other, she quietly left the living room and went out to the balcony, giving the two of us space to talk. The teacher and student reunited after many years of separation. Young Wen-Q couldn't help but ask about my current situation, but she absolutely did not mention my love life. Today, for me to be able to say the 3 words I was wrong, already showed that the path I chose initially, or in other words, that person was not reliable. If that's the case, why would she need to reopen the scar in a child's heart? I've rented an apartment near the university, and have started studying, to prepare for your graduate school entrance exam at the end of the year. Young Wen-Q's eyes lit up. The immense, unexpected joy seemed to overwhelm her. Really? Is it true? She even confirmed it twice. Yes, I nodded. I have no face to see you. I didn't take the path that was already paved for me. And now I want to start over from the beginning. Good. It should have been like this long ago. You better not be lying to me, since you said you'd take my grad school exam. The spot I held this year wasn't wasted after all. I was a little surprised. Although when I went to visit her, I had guessed that Professor Ouyang might have intentionally saved a spot for me. But now that it's been confirmed, I still find it a bit hard to believe. Lin Feng, what virtues or talents do you have? Professor, it's not certain whether I can pass the exam. Please don't have such high expectations. As long as you want to, there's no way you won't pass. I know exactly where your abilities lie. I'm the one who knows best. Unless you deliberately do poorly on the exam, to tease this old woman. How could I? I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It's getting late. You and Joya. Where's Joya? Professor. Joya walked in from the balcony. It's this late already. You and your junior will stay for lunch today. I'll cook myself. As soon as I heard that, my expression changed drastically. Joya's expression was also very complicated. Professor, don't worry about it. Let me do it. It's not that I'm being impolite, but if you go into the kitchen, I'm afraid the kitchen might explode. Young Wen-Q coughed awkwardly, clearly aware of her own cooking skills, but she couldn't lose face in front of her students. She said vaguely, Ahem, that's fine. I'm recovering from an illness after all. I shouldn't go into the kitchen. I shouldn't. I quickly put on an apron and went into the kitchen. Joya also rolled up her sleeves and followed voluntarily. Ill help! Young Wen-Q's gaze fell upon the two of us, sizing us up. Her smile deepened with meaning. The refrigerator was full. The ingredients were all fresh. The professor was just discharged from the hospital. She's still recovering. I plan to cook some light dishes. Joya said, What do you need me to do? I glanced at the basin of vegetables. Help me wash the vegetables. Then I blurted out another question. Any dietary restrictions? No. What about taste preferences? Anything is fine. She's quite easy to please, I muttered to myself. Unlike Liu Ruyan, who is a picky eater and has many demands. Zhuya didn't say anything. To her, food was just something to replenish energy. She didn't care whether it tasted good or bad. After washing up, I glanced at the washed red bell peppers and Shanghai bok choy, arranged neatly and tidily. You could tell it was done by someone with obsessive-compulsive disorder. What are you smiling at? Zhu, you didn't understand? I coughed lightly. Nothing. You can go out first, okay? Zhuya wiped the water stains dry and nodded slightly. I made a full table of food. The flavors were on the lighter side. Basically, they were all dishes that Young Wen-Q liked and could eat. It's amazing that you still remember, the old lady sighed with emotion. After eating, I took the initiative to clear the dishes. Zhuya conscientiously went into the kitchen to help. The woman stood under the warm yellow light. Her shadow was stretched long. From my angle, her side profile with its soft lines looked like a fairy descended to earth. She had a gentle demeanor. Young Wen-Q stood by the doorframe. Lin Feng, how did you and your senior sister get to know each other? Zhuya was her most prized student, and I was her favorite student a long time ago. She wanted to introduce us to each other. Unexpectedly, due to a strange twist of fate, we got to know each other first. Just then, a voice came from outside the door. Professor Ouyang, you have a visitor? Young Wen-Q turned and went out to the living room, and saw a man smiling as he stood up from the sofa. Professor, hello, Liu Tian. I visited you in the hospital before and asked you about this year's graduate student admissions. Young Wen-Q nodded. I remember. I have an impression. Please sit. Liu Tian's smile grew even brighter. I heard you've been resting at home lately. I specially brought you some supplements. Young Wen-Q glanced expressionlessly at the gift box on the coffee table. Ginseng, bird's nest, cordyceps. Her smile faded a little. Liu Tian said, last time I mentioned to you about this year's graduate student quota. Ouyang Wenqiu cut him off. Thank you for your kind intentions, but you should take these things back. As for graduate students, I recruit them every year. The competition is not small. Whether you can pass the exam depends entirely on your own ability. Liu Tian was stunned. Last time in the hospital room, the professor clearly didn't say that. She said if there was a chance, I should try, and to do my best. Why is the professor today? Student Liu, I'm sorry. I still have guests here, so I won't keep you long. I'll have Xiao Wang help you move your things to the car. Such a clear dismissal. How could Liu Tian not understand? He didn't know where the problem was. He was dazed as he walked out and accidentally bumped into someone. Lin Feng, he exclaimed in surprise. Why are you here? I stood before him in a simple black t-shirt, wearing a black apron, and carrying a black trash bag in my hand. What a coincidence. I was also a bit surprised, but I quickly smiled and greeted him. I don't dislike Liu Tian. Although he had the arrogance of a rich young master, he wasn't overbearing. He still had the necessary politeness, but our relationship was just that. We couldn't be as close as Zhu Yi and I. Liu Tian looked me up and down. Why are you working as a part-time helper for someone? Lin Feng, didn't my sister give you spending money? My God, this is so embarrassing. This won't do. This won't do. I really can't stand her. He said this while stomping his leather shoes frantically on his way out, taking out his phone as he walked. It's not that he was defending me. I deserved it for being a simp. It's mainly that. His sister's behavior was just so cheap. Like going to a Western restaurant and not leaving a tip. Liu Tian felt extremely embarrassed. Hello, sis. I really can't help but tell you. The call connected. Just as Liu Tian was about to unload, I'm busy. I don't have time to fool around with you. Who's fooling around? You're the one who's being unreasonable. Where did you learn to be so stingy? Don't you know that stingy women are disgusting like rats? If you want to throw a fit, find someone else. You're talking nonsense. Liu Tian ignored her. Lin Feng washed your clothes and cooked for you, went out with you, slept with you. How can you be so stingy as to not even give him a penny? Forcing him to work as a part-time helper to earn money. If this gets out, will you still have any face left? The other end was silent for a moment. Who are you talking about? Lin Feng? What do you mean, part-time helper? Liu Tian recounted everything he had just seen. This time you've really gone too far. Whatever Liu Tian said after that, Liu Ruyan didn't hear a thing. Ringing in her ears were the words, Lin Feng, part-time helper, earning money. It seems that even though he cashed that 50 million check, he didn't dare to actually use it. Her eyes were dark and heavy. Her expression couldn't be called beautiful, nor could it be called ugly. It had an indescribably mysterious quality. He left so decisively at first. I thought he actually had some backbone. It turns out that without me, he can't even survive. Ruyan, what are you spacing out for? It's your turn. Xia Qing pointed to the dice cup in her hand, reminding her, I'm not playing anymore. Liu Ruyan picked up her suit jacket, grabbed her car keys, and prepared to leave. Didn't you say you wanted to play? Xia Qing was bewildered. Not anymore. Something came up. This time, he'll probably beg me to come pick him up, right? Liu Ruyan sat in her car and waited. During that time, apart from 2 phone calls, about work and a pile of work messages, she didn't get the call she wanted. She decisively gave up waiting and drove straight to Zhu Ye's apartment. Just as Liu Ruyan got out of the car, someone called out to her. Liu Ruyan turned her head and saw Zhu Yi with his arm around a young girl, probably on their way home. What are you doing here? Zhu Ye's gaze toward her was somewhat wary. Where's Lin Feng? What do you want? I'm asking you, where is Lin Feng? Her voice was tinged with impatience. Zhu Yi didn't indulge her? Get it straight, sis. You two have already broken up. What right do you have to demand him from me now? Liu Ruyan sneered. How many times have we broken up? Can you even count it on 2 hands? So what? It's pointless for you to stop me now. Don't waste your effort being the bad guy. In the end, Lin Feng will obediently beg for a reconciliation anyway. Zhu Ye was so amused by her arrogance and conceit that he laughed. In your eyes, is Lin Feng not even as good as a dog? You can have him when you want him and throw him away when you don't. It doesn't matter anyway. He's not worth cherishing. Liu Ruyan didn't want to hear his nonsense. If you don't tell me, I'll go upstairs and find him myself. At this moment, the beautiful girl next to Zhu Ye, who had been silent until now, took a step forward and blocked her with her body. Miss, trespassing on private property is illegal. Liu Ruyan didn't even spare her a glance. Her eyes fixed directly on Zhu Yi. She sneered and nodded. Fine, I'll remember this, but it's useless for you to stop me. In the end, he'll still come back begging me like an obedient dog. After saying that, Liu Ruyan got straight into her car, stepped on the gas, and drove away. After Liu Ruyan left, Zhu Yi cursed loudly on the spot. What kind of person is she? This green tea bitch, a lunatic, good for nothing. In the car, Liu Ruyan received a call. She was in a bad mood, so her tone was very cold. What is it? Honey, I recently found a really delicious restaurant. The crabs are super meaty. It just so happens that tomorrow is Saturday. Let's go eat, shall we? He knew Liu Ruyan liked seafood, so he was catering to her tastes. Plus, the two of them hadn't contacted each other since last night, so he couldn't help but feel panicked. This panic made him disregard everything else and call her proactively. Before, most of the time, it was Liu Ruyan who proactively arranged their dates, and he just needed to play hard to get, refuse once, and then hesitantly agree. But things had been different recently. The number of times she initiated contact had decreased. Her texts were also short and concise. Sometimes she didn't even reply. When asked, she just said she was busy. Like right now. I'm busy on Saturday. I'm not free. If you have something on Saturday, Then maybe. Sunday is also fine. Fang Yuan gripped his phone tightly, his lips a little pale. I already said I'm not free, that's all. After saying that, Liu Ruyan hung up. Fang Yuan looked at the disconnected call. The panic in his heart surged once again. No, it was so hard to become Liu Ruyan's official boyfriend. He couldn't just admit defeat like this. The sun was setting. Zhu Ya and I said goodbye to Ouyang Wenqiu. Why does time pass so quickly? Professor Ouyang looked at the sky, her eyes showing reluctance. Stay for dinner before you go. No thanks. I still have to go back to the lab. I also shook my head. There will be plenty of opportunities in the future. All right? You two should go. Be careful on the way. When you're free in the future, come visit me more often. You hear? The last half of the sentence was directed at me. I hurriedly nodded. Definitely. By the way, there are 2 sets of documents and 3 books on the table. Take them with you. You left them here before. My major was bioinformatics, and I had researched algorithmic directions. The paper I planned to submit to Psy before graduation was only half written. My professor had actually kept all of these for me. My eyes trembled slightly. Professor. All right. Hurry up and go. The lunchbox on the table has been washed. Don't forget it. Seeing me dazed, Ouyang Wenqiu chided. You came all the way to the hospital room door and didn't even know to come in and visit me. You left a lunchbox, and I almost ate until I burst that day. I mumbled. It won't happen again. On the way back to the city, I knew Zhu Ya was busy. I wasn't that thick-skinned to ask her to drop me right at my doorstep, so I suggested getting off at the gate of B University. It wasn't far anyway. I could treat it as a walk. Zhu Ya nodded. Okay. Liu Ruyan saw a figure sitting in front of the villa, and her heart suddenly tightened. But soon, after seeing clearly the man's appearance, it fell heavily again. Fang Yuan, Ruyan, you're back. The man stood up happily. A pair of black eyes as bright as stars looked at her. What are you doing here? I'm waiting for you. I called you during the day. You said you were busy, not free, so I could only wait for you to get off work and not be busy to come over. I'm not disturbing your work, am I? The man was careful. His eyes held a hint of worry. No, Liu Ruyan slowly shook her head. That's good. A smile reappeared on his face, but it quickly drooped again. Ruyan, I'm hungry, Fang Yuan mumbled with his head down, putting on a pitiful act. Let's go. It'll take you to eat. Okay? The two went to a Western restaurant. Liu Ruyan didn't eat much. Fang Yuan, on the other hand, was enjoying the delicious food the whole time. Perhaps realizing she was in a bad mood today, he also spoke less than usual. Are you full? Fang Yuan nodded. I'm full. Let's go. I'll take you back to school. Fang Yuan reluctantly nodded. The restaurant wasn't far from the University of Science and Technology. After driving for less than 10 minutes, she pulled over and stopped. Fang Yuan's movement to open the door and get out paused. He turned his head to look at Liu Ruyan. Aren't you going to take me inside? Liu Ruyan nodded. Okay, the gate of the University of Science and Technology was just when evening classes were letting out. Quite a few students were coming out to find food. Fang Yuan was the recognized campus hunk of the University of Science and Technology, so his appearance attracted many curious glances, especially since next to the campus hunk was such a stunningly beautiful woman. Fang Yuan seemed oblivious to the chatter of the students around him. He turned his head to look at Liu Ruyan and smiled handsomely. When can you introduce me to your roommates, okay? They're very curious about you. No, I'm sure the entire University of Science and Technology is curious about the official girlfriend of the cool campus hunk. Before, when I was still by his side, he wasn't official yet. Fang Yuan didn't dare to show her off, but it was different now. She had personally promised to give him a title. Now she had kept her word, so he didn't need to hide it anymore. Liu Ruyan didn't say anything. In other words, she had no interest in what the man called meeting the roommates, but Fang Yuan seemed not to notice her coldness, just laughing and talking to himself. This is great. Ruyan, every moment with you is a happy one. After speaking, he suddenly turned towards Liu Ruyan, and as the woman was slightly taken aback, he lowered his head, corners of his mouth curved up. Then, he gently kissed the woman's thin lips. Wow! A wave of gasps erupted from the surroundings. So the rumors were true. The campus hunk is really taken. Oh my god. It's like an idol drama. Fang Yuan is so handsome. His girlfriend is super beautiful too. This is what you call a perfect match. A match made in heaven. Ship them. Ship them. At this moment, I was standing behind the crowd of onlookers. It's not that I wanted to watch, but as I was passing by, the commotion was really too big, and it caught my attention. It was too much of a coincidence. Liu Ruyan came to her senses and looked at the beaming man when a pair of equally bright eyes suddenly flashed in her mind, sparkling brilliantly. That year, during the university graduation ceremony at B University, there was also a man who had looked at her like that, with bright eyes and a smile like a flower. Liu Ruyan, I choose you. I have no regrets. The deeply buried memories she thought had long since died jumped out without warning and struck her soul. She subconsciously stepped back, increasing the distance from Fang Yuan. Ruyan? The man was confused. It's late. You should go inside first. No. Fang Yuan shook his head, and the next second, he shamelessly moved closer again. I want to be with you a little longer. Before he could get close, Liu Ruyan switched from passive to active, wrapping her arms around the man's neck and kissed him forcefully. The surrounding crowd buzzed again. Wow, amazing. How in love are they? I took in this entire scene. My hand gripping the books tightened until the veins popped out. It turns out my heart can still hurt, but my expression was frighteningly calm, almost numb. I thought I would get used to it and be fine. Even quitting smoking has withdrawal symptoms, let alone a person you've loved for 6 years. I didn't stay any longer. I turned and left. I still had to go back and study. Liu Ruyan, standing in the crowd, seemed to sense something, and turned her head to look. A vaguely familiar back flashed past her eyes, but the next second, the man's large hand slipped into her palm, their 10 fingers intertwining intimately. What are you looking at? Liu Ruyan withdrew her gaze. Nothing. After taking him to his dormitory building, the woman prepared to leave, but Fang Yuan held her hand, unwilling to let go. His eyes full of reluctance. It's still early. Can't you stay with me a little longer? Liu Ruyan caressed his face. Be good. He'll pick you up this weekend. Under the streetlight, the woman stood against the light, casting a shadow over her face, which further accentuated her delicate features. Breathtakingly beautiful, a glint appeared in Fang Yuan's eyes, showing a clear desire. Ruyan, can I go home with you today? What this sentence meant, I'm afraid every adult understands. Liu Ruyan was slightly stunned, her eyes filled with a complicated emotion. I have something to do today. Maybe another time. Fang Yuan was a little taken aback, but a glimmer of joy secretly flashed in his heart. Although she didn't let him touch her now, she didn't refuse. There was still a chance. She probably wanted a long-term relationship with him. All right, I still have things to do. I'm leaving? Liu Ruyan raised her hand to look at her watch. Fang Yuan nodded. Okay, remember to rest early. I'll bring you some stomach-warming porridge tomorrow. She said nothing, just dazed in her confusion. In the room, the computer was on. My typing suddenly slowed down. The image of the two of them kissing flashed in my mind. I let out a cold laugh, got up and went to the bathroom and splashed 3 handfuls of cold water on my face before my mind slowly cleared up. The past has been thrown away. There's no need to overthink it. The urgent matter is to prepare for the exam. There isn't much time left for me. Back in front of the computer, I opened the 2 books Professor Yu Yang gave me. One was a bioinformatics major textbook, and the other was like a notebook. It was Yu Yang Wenqiu's annotations. In addition, there was also a USB drive. Inside was a university thesis that I had left halfway. It was originally to prepare for graduate school. It's just that later. At first, for this thesis, I could stay in the lab for 3 days and 3 nights, forgetting to eat or sleep. Just collecting and organizing the data took nearly half a year. The step-by-step proofs and solutions were even more meticulous. Later, although I gave up the master's doctoral combined program and focused on taking care of Liu Ruyan's daily life and meals at home, I didn't completely abandon this thesis. I didn't do anything all these years, except for 2 things. One was being a free nanny for Liu Ruyan, and the other was completing this thesis. What Professor Yu Yang gave me was only the content completed during university. I took the second half from my computer, combining the 2 parts, formed a complete thesis. At that moment, it seemed as if my vague former life and my suddenly clear future life met, forming a complete person. I was busy until dawn. I looked at the finished manuscript and decisively struck while the iron was hot, submitting it to Science, one of the world's top 3 academic journals representing the highest level of natural science research for humanity. I wasn't sure if it would be accepted. After all, there are so many disciplines in the world, so many fields, so many brilliant scientists. What was I? But I still wanted to try. Before the sky was completely light, I turned off the computer and took the time to catch up on sleep. At 8 o'clock, I opened my eyes on time, washed up, and had breakfast. Then I took my study materials and went to the library. Unexpectedly, just as I stepped out the door, I ran into Ju Ya, who had just returned. It was raining outside. The folded umbrella in her hand was still dripping. You didn't stay up all night, did you? The experiment was in a rush to get data. She had just come back from the lab to grab a few simple things before having to rush back. This is for you. I brought some hot milk over. Drink it. You'll feel much warmer. Thanks. Remember to change your clothes since you got caught in the rain. I pointed to her shoulder. Joya tilted her head and realized that spot was soaking wet. Well, it'll be going then. I smiled and turned to go downstairs. It wasn't even 9 o'clock. The library already had quite a few people. I folded my umbrella. I hadn't gone inside yet. Suddenly, a familiar voice called out. Lin Feng. Liu Tian came today for his postgraduate entrance exam matters. He intentionally came to visit the school's board of directors. He happened to be passing by the library when it started to rain, so he got stuck here temporarily. He didn't expect to run into an acquaintance. Why are you at the library? Working a part-time job again? Are you that short on money recently? Don't worry, I've already talked to my sister. I told her to be a bit more generous in the future. So you should quit these part-time jobs. Taking good care of my sister is more important than anything. I heard her stomach was acting up again yesterday. Who is Liu Tian talking to? Before Liu Tian could finish, a voice suddenly interrupted him. I saw a tall, middle-aged woman with an extraordinary aura walking this way. As she got closer, I realized she was wearing the latest spring haute couture collection from House C this year. Her well-maintained face showed no obvious wrinkles, and in her hand, she carried a rare leather Hermes Kelly bag. Shu Yuqin walked to her son's side. With just a glance, wasn't this her daughter's worthless boyfriend? She looked me up and down. Her already displeased expression became even more filled with disgust. Wearing just a t-shirt and jeans to go out, hair not even styled, truly improper. Shu Yuqin glanced at the library behind me, then her gaze swept over the 2 books in my hands. Her eyes deepened slightly. Mr. Lin, what a coincidence. She deliberately emphasized the word coincidence. The implication was that, to curry favor with her, I would even stage such a clumsy, coincidental meeting. You really went to great lengths, Shu Yuqin sighed. But the ancients were right. A monkey in clothes, no matter how well it pretends, it's still not human. Stop with these petty tricks in the future. I don't fall for this kind of act. Since we've met today, I don't mind being a little more direct. Our Ruyan could never marry you, but considering you've taken care of her food, lodging, and transport for all these years, even if there's no merit, there was effort. After she gets married, he'll transfer a sum of money to you. Then you can leave the country. It'll be enough for someone like you for the rest of your life. As for everything else, don't even dream about it, understand? However, the man in Shu Yuqin's imagination, the scene of grateful tears did not appear. Instead, she was met with a cold laugh. Mrs. Shu, save your charity for someone else. I'm not fortunate enough to enjoy it. Also, Liu Ruyan and I have already broken up. From now on, when we meet, it's better if we act like strangers. Before, for Liu Ruyan's sake, I could unconditionally tolerate Shu Yuqin. She criticized my lack of education, my lack of experience studying abroad, and my lack of a career or job after graduation. In short, I was not worthy of her precious daughter. Before, I might have tried to find a way to please this future mother-in-law, but now, I don't even want Liu Ruyan anymore. So what the hell is her mother, still putting on airs in front of me? How could I possibly tolerate this? Oh right, Mrs. Shu. Let me give you a piece of advice, I smiled. In the future, don't speak so harshly, because you might get beaten up. Also, the phrase for a monkey in clothes is, Muhao er guan. You should learn it. After saying that, I calmly turned and entered the library. Shu Yuqin froze on the spot, her pupils trembled in shock. What did he just say? He dared to speak to me like that? What the hell is he? Does he still want to marry into the Liu family? Liu Tian's arm was pinched by his mother. She shook it frantically. Only then did he snap out of his astonishment. He mumbled, Mom. Lin Feng just said he broke up with Sis. Do you believe him, Mom? Right. How many times has he broken up with Sis? It never actually happened. After all, everyone knows, Lin Feng is madly in love with Liu Ruyan. Like a dog that has found its owner, you can't even chase him away. Liu Tian averted his gaze. Mom, don't forget, we have important business today. You have to go with me to visit the school's board. He looked at his watch. We'll be late if we don't go now. Shu Yuqin took a deep breath. Only then did she suppress the boiling rage in her chest. Let's go. What the hell is that, Lin Feng? I can't let him ruin my son's important business. University BS Library has a long history. It has a comprehensive collection of books. It's known as an ocean of knowledge. I walked around twice before finding a seat. Coincidentally, behind me was the bioinformatics section. It was convenient for looking up materials at any time. My eyes scanned the top shelf. Unexpectedly, I saw Zhou Ya's name. A little curious, I pulled it out. The cover depicted a vast, endless universe, just like the feeling Zhou Ya herself gave me. Deep, vast, peaceful, and quiet. It was a research notebook. It was generally about proteins, molecular structure, and dynamics. It belonged to the interdisciplinary field of biology and physics. I opened the first page. There was a handwritten epigraph. All things are interconnected. Scholarship is boundless. To be able to speak about interdisciplinary research with such confidence, only a versatile genius like her could. Half a day passed without me realizing. I had read almost the entire book. Although I majored in bioinformatics in college, my physics scores weren't bad either. 1 p.m. I closed the book. I put it back in its original place. I took a deep breath. Only then did I feel hungry. I left the library, planning to grab a bite and then return to studying. I was halfway through my meal when Zhou Yi called. Brother Ye, what's up? Are you at home? No, I'm at the library. I took a sip of water. Is something wrong? That woman, Liu Ruyan, came looking for you yesterday. Zhou Yi was still a bit angry just talking about it. She opened her mouth and immediately asked where I was. Are you kidding me? How could I tell her? You haven't seen her these past 2 days, have you? We finally got rid of that toxic woman. You absolutely cannot jump back into that fire pit. I shook my head. No. Good. Zhou Yi sighed in relief. Oh, right. Are you free tonight? I need you to do something for me. After visiting the school's board of directors, everything went smoothly. A smile appeared on Liu Tian's face, wiping away the humiliation he felt from Ouyang Wenqiu. Let's go, Mom. Get in the car. Shu Yuqin frowned, retracting her gaze from the library's direction. You go ahead, I still have something to do. After saying that, she called home, telling another driver to come. Liu Tian thought his mother was planning to go to one of her ladies' parties again, so he didn't think much of it. Who would have thought that after getting in the car, Shu Yuqin would order the driver to go to Ruyan's company? Just having finished a meeting, Liu Ruyan saw her own mother frowning, her expression aggressive, her scalp tingled. Mom, why are you here? What, I can't come? That's not it. She touched her nose. Shu Yuqin snorted softly. She walked straight to the sofa and sat down. If you can't manage your man, I don't mind stepping in to help. Liu Ruyan, look at Lin Feng's attitude. In the end, isn't it because you spoiled him? The woman's pupils constricted slightly. What's wrong with Lin Feng, you're asking? I just ran into him at University BS Library. I only said a couple of things to him and he couldn't take it. He said I was harsh and even mocked me for being uncultured. Just as expected from someone from a poor family, he has no upbringing whatsoever. Liu Ruyan frowned. You met him at the library? That's right. Instead of staying put at home, he runs to the library pretending to be cultured. Does he think doing that will make me see him differently? What a daydreamer. And he even said he broke up with you, that from now on, when he sees me, we're strangers. Does anyone talk to their elders like that? Does he still want to marry into our Liu family? Liu Ruyan's pupils grew darker. Suddenly, Shu Yuqin asked, did you two really break up? As if possessed, she replied, how could we? I knew it. Someone like him, a toad who finally got a taste of swan meat, how could he let go so easily? Anyway, you know what happened. Go home and teach him a lesson for me, Shu Yuqin complained at length. Liu Ruyan grew annoyed listening to her. Mom, she interrupted, don't say any more. I have a meeting later. I'll have someone take you home. But I'm not finished talking. Seeing her daughter's face darken, Shu Yuqin wisely shut her mouth. Fine, I'll go home for today, but don't you let him off easy. Men need to be managed well. You have to train them to be obedient before they'll listen. After seeing her mother off, Liu Ruyan let out a long sigh. She looked at the sunset descending outside the floor-to-ceiling window. She didn't want to go back to the villa. She remembered that Fang Yuan's birthday was in 2 days. She texted Shen Zining to ask what she should get him. Shen Zining replied immediately, just pick a watch or something, that should be fine. I don't know how to choose. Come with me. How would a single dog like him know what to choose? The two arranged to meet at a mall in the city, inside a luxury jewelry store. What can I help you two with? The salesperson asked with a smile. It's a gift for my boyfriend. What do you think of this men's watch model? It has a simple design, understated yet handsome. It's very suitable for young men. Shen Zining had no interest in these things. He lost interest after one glance, turned his head to look around. The next second, he excitedly shouted, Brother Feng! Liu Ruyan's body stiffened for 2 seconds. Then she turned around, pretending like nothing happened. Tonight, Zhou Ye has a business party. No one from his company could go, so he asked me to come to the store to pick up a custom-made watch for him. I didn't expect to run into you here. I smiled at Shen Zining. Little brother Shen, long time no see. Have you been busy lately? His gaze slowly swept over towards Liu Ruyan. Since we've run into each other, let's go grab a meal together. Let's skip the meal. I have something to do. Let's do it another time. Shen Zining and I are on good terms. Even when refusing, I smiled brightly so as not to make him lose face. Shen Zining noticed that in my hand, I was holding a custom-made, high-end jewelry box. It seemed I really did have something to do. It wasn't an excuse. He hummed in agreement. He wanted to say something else, but I had already walked past Liu Ruyan, heading straight out. Throughout the entire process, I didn't even glance at her, not a single look. The air pressure beside him suddenly dropped. Shen Zining secretly glanced at Liu Ruyan's face. He awkwardly tried to smooth things over. Sister Liu, Brother Feng probably didn't see you. Don't take it to heart. If Shen Zining hadn't said anything, it would have been fine. The moment he spoke, Liu Ruyan's expression became even uglier. He cleared his throat. He didn't dare to speak again. But in his heart, he thought, Brother Feng is really playing hardball this time. Miss, are you still buying? Liu Ruyan looked up coldly. Buy it? Of course I'm buying. Get me the most expensive one. You don't want it. Someone else will. The gathering place was a standalone villa on Yungxi Road. When I arrived, quite a few people were already there. Some people recognized me. Their gazes immediately turned strange. In the past, Liu Ruyan would bring me along. I've attended events like this quite a few times. Over time, my face became familiar. They didn't know my name was Lin Feng. They only knew I was Liu Ruyan's boyfriend, a toad who always wanted to eat swan meat. But recently, there were rumors in the circle, news that we had broken up. Plus, with me appearing at the party alone now, I'm afraid the news wasn't false. That's why everyone's gazes became strange. The toad who was about to eat swan meat was suddenly knocked back to his original form. 6 years invested for nothing, and he even became the one who was dumped. Isn't this story juicy enough? I ignored all kinds of looks and went straight to find Zhou. Yeah, personally handing him the watch. Lin Feng, you should stay and hang out. The wine is really good today. No thanks, you drink up. I won't be drinking. All right. He didn't press the issue. He knew very well what those people were thinking. My staying would only make things more awkward. I'll have Assistant Liu take you home. I turned to leave. Around me. Did you guys just see that? That guy still dares to show up? So shameless. He followed Liu Ruyan for 6 years. There must be some lingering affection, right? That's hilarious. Didn't you see what he was wearing? My maid dresses better than him. Everyone knows he follows Liu Ruyan around every day, doing her laundry and cooking for her. He's no different from a nanny. Mr. Lin, Assistant Liu glanced at my expression. Those unbearable words, even a woman like her found them unpleasant to hear. And yet, I was as calm as if nothing had happened. Let's go. What those people would gossip about, I had long known in my heart. When I decided to break up with Liu Ruyan, I had already anticipated a scene like today's. Mr. Lin, wait a moment, I'll go get the car. Okay, I stood outside the party hall, looking up at the sky. The sun was setting, the wind was gentle. Just then, Lin Feng, a low voice, tinged with drunkenness, called out. I turned my head, our eyes met. What a coincidence. Su Yutong swirled the wine in her glass. Her dark eyes held a hint of suppressed, pleasant surprise. Long time no see? I didn't expect to see you here. Let me think, how long has it been? The last time we met was, I think, at your university graduation ceremony. Unfortunately, Liu Ruyan stopped me. I couldn't even give you the flowers. I felt a bit awkward. In the beginning, Su Yutong and Liu Ruyan pursued me at almost the same time. Both were daughters of wealthy families with outstanding looks. but one was crazier than the other. I have something to do, I'm leaving. But Su Yutong didn't want to let me go just like that. Liu Ruyan has hidden you so well all these years. It's really hard to see you even once. I looked up, my smile fading slightly. What are you trying to say? Back then, you rejected both me and Liu Ruyan. But in the end, you chose her. It was just because she persisted longer and knew how to cling to people better. But have you ever thought the reason she could persist longer was because in this competition among women, she wanted to win more? In that moment, my already shattered heart was stabbed again, leaving a large, bloody hole. So it turns out what I thought was deep love was just a woman's momentary fit of anger, a competitive streak. Seeing my face suddenly turn pale, a flash of heartache appeared in Su Yutong's eyes. She tried to reach out and touch my face, but before she could touch it, I had already taken half a step back, increasing the distance between us. Miss Su, please have some self-respect. Su Yutong stepped closer. Stop pretending. I know you and Liu Ruyan have broken up. So what? I looked up with a smile. Lin Feng, come with me. I will cherish and love you more than Liu Ruyan ever did. Whatever you want, I'll do my best to give you, as long as you're willing to be with me. Whether it was 6 years ago or 6 years later, when she saw me again, Su Yutong's heart still beat just as fast. She knew she had never let go. I laughed. I just escaped one fire pit, and you want me to jump into another one? Miss Su, it was nice seeing you today, but it's better if we go our separate ways from now on. After saying that, I turned and left. Whether it was Liu Ruyan or Su Yutong, I didn't want to get entangled with anyone right now. It's best if they don't come and bother me. Su Yutong watched my retreating figure. A deep look flashed in her eyes. A soft sigh escaped her lips. She chuckled and muttered, Lin Feng, the tree wants to be still, but the wind won't stop. Do you think you can escape? Unexpectedly, someone in the distance had seen the entire scene. Gu Mengqi looked at the photo she had just taken. She smirked with satisfaction. Coincidentally, Xia Qing was also here today. She came out for some fresh air and saw Gu Mengqi holding her phone, smiling like a sly fox. What are you looking at? You're smiling so creepily. Gu Mengqi ignored her harsh words. She just smugly raised her phone and waved it in front of her. Xia Qing had sharp eyes. With a quick glance, she recognized the person in the photo was Lin Feng. Gu Mengqi lifted her chin, her expression showing she loved watching drama and wasn't afraid of making things bigger. Besides him, there's also Su Yutong. I've already sent it to Sister Ruyan. The drama of two women fighting over one man back then, they had witnessed it firsthand. How crazy Liu Ruyan was at the time. They still shook their heads thinking about it now. Xia Qing's gaze deepened. They just had a fight and broke up, and Su Yutong has already jumped in. Moreover, looking at Lin Feng's attitude, she paused for a moment. Her tone carried a profound meaning. Looks like Lin Feng is serious this time. No, Lin Feng doesn't have the guts. Just you wait. He and Sister Ruyan can't break up. To be precise, he can't leave Sister Ruyan. Then why did you send her the photo? Gu Mengqi didn't care. Just for fun. To watch the drama. What's the big deal? Xia Qing raised an eyebrow. Don't take it too far. In the end, you won't even be able to be sisters. I just took one photo. Besides, with Sister Ruyan's attitude towards Lin Feng, an ex-boyfriend really isn't that important. Look at this photo I took. Isn't the timing perfect? Look at this atmosphere. Xia Qing's gaze rested on the photo, on the man's handsome side profile. You're right. He's just an ex-boyfriend. It's normal for other women to pursue him. Assistant Liu dropped me off downstairs. After getting out of the car, I didn't go straight upstairs. Instead, I turned into the vegetable market next door. 20 minutes later, I was about to go upstairs, carrying large and small bags, when I saw Zhouya walking out of the darkness. It was already a bit dark. The faint moonlight reflected on her. Her already slender figure looked even more delicate under the moonlight. She looked straight ahead, her gait seeming to exude concentration. What a coincidence. We meet again. I took the initiative to greet her. Zhouya looked up and pushed up her glasses. What a coincidence. Have you had dinner yet? I bought some groceries. Want to eat together? Zhouya reflexively intended to refuse, but remembering my cooking skills, she nodded as if possessed. My place. This was her first time here. There were several pots of succulents on the front balcony, full of life. In the back, a square fish tank had 2 red carp swimming in it. The white curtains fluttered in the wind. The cherry wood table and chairs had a warm tone. The atmosphere was warm, peaceful, and pleasant. The glass coffee table was covered with books and practice exercises for the graduate school entrance exam. She glanced over them and knew immediately that the answers written in black pen on the exam papers were almost all correct. Want something to drink? Just water is fine, thank you. I poured her a glass of warm water. I bought a little too much food today. It's just right for hot pot. I opened the grocery bag, revealing all sorts of vegetables, a piece of beef, and a box of homemade beef balls. I still have beef bones at home from last time, perfect for making a light beef hot pot. You got one multiple-choice question wrong. Zhouya suddenly spoke. I followed her gaze, looking at the exam paper I had just done this morning. I obviously knew which question she was talking about. How embarrassing. That question involved an interdisciplinary subject between biology and physics. The part about dynamics, I still don't quite understand it. The form of action and the kinetic calculation of the form of action. The selection and kinetic calculation are very closely related. The selection of different forms of action will result in different shapes for the system's potential energy surface. The molecular motion obtained from kinetic calculations and the trajectory of motion within the molecule will also be different. Zhu offered a hint. I was stunned for a moment, then fell into deep thought. 2 seconds later, my eyes suddenly lit up. So that's how it is. Seeing me react so quickly, Zhu was a little surprised. You understood? For the most part, I said truthfully. I saw your research notes in the library. I know some basic principles of molecular dynamics, so I could understand it. A rare trace of embarrassment appeared on Zhu face. Those were notes from my undergraduate days. There are quite a few mistakes. I couldn't help but laugh. To be honest, there really are quite a few. You're very smart, and you have a good grasp of things. The graduate school exam won't be a problem for you. My smile grew even brighter. Really? Then I'll accept Professor Zhu's good wishes. When Liu Ruyan and Shen Xining left the shopping mall, it was already very dark. Shen Xining glanced at the paper bag she was carrying. The watch worth nearly 7 figures was just carried brazenly in her hand, swinging and swaying, as if wanting to show it off to someone. The store had clearly said they could provide a secure delivery service, but this lady insisted she didn't need it. Unfortunately, on their way out, they didn't run into that person again. Shen Xining suggested, "It's getting late, let's go eat first." Liu Ruyan wasn't very interested and just hummed in agreement. "You arrange it." Shen Xining chose a restaurant, a rather famous family-style restaurant nearby. The two of them booked a private room on the second floor with a nice view and a quiet atmosphere. The waiter brought the menu. There was a wide variety of Cantonese dishes with an emphasis on fresh flavors. There was no shortage of delicacies. Shen Xining spent a long time choosing, his eyes starting to glaze over. Seeing that Liu Ruyan remained silent, he initiated a conversation. "I heard this Cantonese restaurant is delicious, authentic, and with a rich menu. Liu Ruyan, is there anything you'd like to eat?" Liu Ruyan had no opinion. Whatever you choose is fine. From the moment she left the jewelry store until now, she had been fiddling with her phone, absent-minded. Thinking about how I didn't even give her a single glance, just pretending not to know her and walking right past her, Liu Ruyan's brow remained furrowed. I actually treated her like she was thin air. And another thing, he's clearly moved out of Zhu Ye's place, so why hasn't he moved back yet? How long is he going to keep causing trouble? Her thoughts were a tangled mess. She picked up the wine glass beside her and took a large gulp. Shen Jining ordered yanduxian, braised duck with perilla, and sweet and sour pork. He also ordered an essential seafood dish. The dishes were served one by one, their aroma filling the air. Shen Xining had been hungry for a while, and now smelling the fragrant food, he just wanted to dig in. He picked up a piece with his chopsticks. This tastes really good. He looked back at Liu Ruyan, who was barely eating, slowly and deliberately, without any of the joy of savoring a fine meal. Liu Ruyan, are you still thinking about what happened earlier? I think Brother Feng is probably still angry. Once this period passes, maybe things will be fine. He thought of something, and his chopsticks paused. Besides, you broke up with him that day in front of so many of us, making Brother Feng lose so much face. I'm afraid he won't be able to get over it so quickly. Wait a few days until he's not angry anymore, and you can just coax him a little, and it'll be fine. Liu Ruyan's face tensed. Who said I was thinking about him? Just eat your food. So stubborn. Suddenly, her phone vibrated. Liu Ruyan opened it, and a photo appeared. The man was standing sideways, and the woman was reaching out her hand affectionately, about to touch the man's face in the next second. The resolution wasn't high. It was even a little blurry, but she immediately recognized the man as Lin Feng and the woman as Su Yutong. Liu Ruyan's eyes instantly became as cold as shattered ice. Seeing this, Shen Jining's heart skipped a beat. Liu Ruyan, what's wrong? She threw the phone on the table, her face dark. Is this the it'll be fine after a while that you were talking about? I think he's gotten very bold, to dare to flirt with Su Yutong. Shen Jining blinked, glanced at the photo on the phone, and immediately felt a bit of a headache coming on. This Su Yutong is really audacious. Knowing Brother Feng is in a fit of pique, she deliberately chooses this moment to take advantage of the situation, adding fuel to the fire. She really isn't afraid of death. Liu Ruyan curled her lip coldly. After leaving me, his taste has gotten worse. To think he'd even find someone like Su Yutong appealing. Does he think I care about what happens out there? I have no idea, nor do I care. My life is now filled with studying. It's dry and monotonous, but it's also fulfilling and stable. Every day there are only 2 destinations, my rented apartment and the library. Outside of studying, I cook myself a delicious meal and also share some with my neighbor who often works late. Although it's not as good as before in terms of material possessions, but after leaving that villa, even the air tastes of freedom. Lin Feng, are you studying? Zhu Yi called. Yeah. I stood up, walked to a corner and lowered my voice, trying not to disturb others. Today is Friday. Let's go out to eat. But, no buts. Even the donkey in the production team needs to rest, so why not go out and relax a bit? Besides, you need to balance work and rest when studying. Don't study yourself into a fool. All right. The two of them arranged to meet at a Japanese restaurant. Zhu Yi likes sashimi. He ordered fresh salmon and other large seafood like shrimp. I'm not used to eating other things, so I just ordered a bowl of ramen and an order of sushi. The ramen tasted average, but the ingredients were fresh. Seeing me eat so seriously, Zhu Yi deliberately joked, "This salmon is really fresh. Are you sure you don't want to try a little? It might open up a whole new world for you." "You'll pass. You know full well, I'm psychologically unable to accept raw food. I'm fine just eating my ramen. It's been so long, you really haven't changed at all." Ever since they first met, he had discovered that I was always stubborn about the things I liked. Similarly, I was stubborn about the things I disliked. Speaking of which, I haven't been to the spa these past few days. I've been so busy my skin has gotten worse. At this point, he sighed again. "It's all my dad's fault. He's been nagging me to go on blind dates recently. My mom doesn't even try to stop him. She even helps my dad scheme against me. It's not like they can't afford to support this son of theirs. Why go to such lengths? Besides, my cousin is so accomplished and she's not even married yet. What's the rush for me?" Speaking of Juya, I just remembered. Although we're neighbors, we're both busy with our own things. Since the last time we had hot pot together, I gave her a sandwich once in between, and we haven't seen each other since. Zhu Yi didn't notice I was distracted and put a piece of sushi in his mouth. Thinking back to the last time we met, you and my cousin went to see Professor Aoyang. What happened after that? I slurped my noodles, chewed for a bit, then swallowed before speaking. That's about it. The professor has already saved a spot for me, so I have to pass this year's graduate school entrance exam. Zhu Yi clapped. "Excellent. I like seeing you so confident. As a reward, I'll take you somewhere this weekend. How about it?" "Where?" "You'll know when we get there." At my strong insistence, after we finished eating, Zhu Yi drove me back to the library. It was still early. I could still study for a while longer. After finishing 2 sets of practice exams, I looked up to see the sunset. I sat in a seat near the window, and the sunlight shone in through the floor-to-ceiling glass, landing right on me, golden and warm. I stretched, and just as I finished tidying up my books and exam papers, I heard the announcement for closing time over the speakers. I grabbed my bag and left on time. The orange evening glow dyed half the sky red, in layer after layer, from light to dark, like a vibrant oil painting. I slowed my pace and started thinking about what to eat for dinner. Unconsciously, I had arrived downstairs from my apartment. Suddenly, a figure in black entered my vision. A week ago, the latest data from the lab was flawed. Juya hadn't slept for days, running the experiment over and over again, but the results were not ideal. The person in charge of the experiment was a middle-aged man around 40 years old. Since Juya took over the experiment, he had always been there. Now that the lab was having problems, he was also anxious. The initial experimental results were clearly positive, and the subsequent progress was normal. Why is the data wrong? Juya frowned slightly. Experiments exist for trial and error. The result is not the only thing. But wrong data proves the experiment is wrong. We have repeated one problem dozens of times. Can it be that 1 week is still not enough for us to see clearly? The person in charge glanced at Juya and cautiously probed. "In my opinion, if we can't continue, why not cut our losses in time? Trying a different direction is also an option." Juya's expression was cold, her sharp gaze questioning him from behind her glasses. "Are you worried the experiment will fail, or do you feel that the direction Professor Zhu proposed is more in line with your profit-first point of view?" She pushed up her glasses. "Physics has never been something that can be accomplished overnight. It has its own rhythm and path. It's not something you can change just by saying so." The person in charge said embarrassedly, "I was just saying." The two parted on bad terms. Juya turned her head, and I smiled and waved at her. "Long time no see, neighbor." Walking side by side on the way home, I just made casual conversation. "Thanks for last time. I've been doing my practice tests very smoothly these past few days. Zhu, you didn't take the credit. It's because you have a high aptitude. Have you visited the professor these past few days?" I clasped my hands behind my back, looking at the stones under my feet, and walked slowly. "No. I've only called a few times. His health is recovering very well. He should be able to return to school in a few days." Juya nodded. "That's good. The professor has always been responsible for his teaching duties. He probably couldn't sit still during his 2 days of rest." The sky gradually darkened. Someone was riding a bicycle, its front wobbling. Just then, Juya happened to step on an uneven stone. She stumbled, lost her balance, and was about to collide with the bicycle. In an instant, I reached out and grabbed her slender wrist. With a bit of force, I pulled her entire body close, narrowly avoiding the approaching bicycle. "Are you okay?" My warm fingers through her sleeve held the woman's wrist tightly. The summer clothes were thin, and the warmth transferred, instantly making the woman's ears burn. "I'm fine, thank you." We were too close, so close that our breaths seemed to be right next to each other's ears. Realizing this, Juya took half a step back. I reacted as well, and let go of her hand. After that, we were silent for the rest of the way home. We said our goodbyes, went into our respective homes, and closed the doors. The scene from just now replayed in my mind, and the details uncontrollably magnified themselves. The feeling of touch through the sleeve, the breath carrying a faint, elegant scent, and those deep, dark eyes. On the other side, after a busy day, Juya was sweaty and felt uncomfortable, preparing to take a shower. She habitually picked up her phone from the table, intending to order takeout first, but she happened to see on the app a pop-up window appear. It was a white t-shirt, priced at $99. She froze for a moment. The last time she came to my place, I seemed to be wearing this exact shirt. The man's arms were not too big, but they looked very firm and strong. The light-colored shirt highlighted the lines of my arms. The scene from just now suddenly appeared in Juya's mind. I could wrap one hand around her wrist, and just now, it seemed I accidentally touched. Her small, snow-white face instantly flushed red. In the blink of an eye, it was Sunday. The sun was scorching like fire, with blue skies and white clouds. Fang Yuan chose a shirt with ruffled trim, its simple light green color accentuating his artistic and fresh look. He spent another whole hour grooming himself. His roommate on the top bunk teased, "Usually on weekends you don't wake up until noon. Why are you up so early today? And you're so dressed up. I really admire the person who managed to get a date with our little fairy." The last time Fang Yuan and Liu Ruyan were seen kissing intimately at the school gate, it went viral on the forum. Now everyone at the Polytechnic University knows that Fang Yuan is taken, and by the famous CEO Liu Ruyan no less. "Xiao Yuan, today is your birthday. CEO Liu must have prepared a surprise for you, right?" Fang Yuan fixed his hair in the mirror, feeling some anticipation in his heart, but he said, "I don't know, probably." The roommate wanted to ask more, but he looked at his watch, changed his shoes in a bit of a panic, and ran out. "We'll talk when I get back. I'm leaving now." Fang Yuan ran downstairs in a few steps, running towards the school gate. He immediately found Liu Ruyan's car parked by the road. The woman was leaning against the front of the car, her black one-piece dress complementing her youthful and beautiful figure, making her look like a university student, youthful and beautiful, full of vitality, causing passers-by to turn their heads constantly. Within 3 minutes, she had raised her hand to check her watch 3 times. They had agreed on 10 o'clock, but it was already past that time. She took out her phone, found Fang Yuan's number, and was about to call when a tall, handsome figure pressed up against her. Fang Yuan wrapped his arms around Liu Ruyan's slender waist, his tone gentle. "Have you been waiting long? I'm late." Liu Ruyan's dark eyes glanced at him. "I'm sorry. I promise we'll be on time next time." Seeing she wasn't going to make a fuss, Fang Yuan sighed in relief inwardly and got in the car. As for his petty thoughts, it's not that Liu Ruyan didn't notice. She just couldn't be bothered to expose them. Fang Yuan quickly sat in the passenger seat. Throughout the ride, he chattered non-stop, almost without pausing. Liu Ruyan turned the steering wheel, looking straight ahead, occasionally responding with a few words. The car stopped at an intersection, and Fang Yuan casually looked out the window. A giant LED screen was showing an advertisement for the newly opened Universal Studios. His interest was immediately piqued. He tugged at the woman's hem, his eyes full of expectation. "Babe, can we go to Universal Studios today?" "Okay." Today was for celebrating Fang Yuan's birthday, so Liu Ruyan didn't mind where they went. She casually handed over a bag printed with the logo of a luxury watch brand. "Birthday present." Fang Yuan opened it and exclaimed in surprise, "Isn't this the latest season's limited edition watch from brand C? It's super expensive and hard to buy." With that, he immediately took it out of the box and put it on his wrist. Looking at the latest design, Fang Yuan couldn't help but wave his hand in front of her. "Isn't it beautiful? How did you know I like this?" The light turned green. Liu Ruyan released the gas pedal, and when she turned her head, she saw Fang Yuan taking pictures with his phone. She said casually, "As long as you like it. The place Juyi said he would take me. I didn't expect him to arrive so early. When I received the call, I had just woken up." "Lin Feng, hurry up. You can't park downstairs. I'll give you 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, I got in the car and handed Juyi a sandwich. Juyi took a bite and praised, "You're never late." The sports car sped off, flying down the road. It finally stopped outside Universal Studios. I looked up. "Is this the place you wanted to bring me? Studying and reviewing every day? Aren't you bored to death?" "It's the weekend, so of course you have to relax a little. I'll go buy 2 tickets. You wait for me here." He came back quickly. Let's go, let's go. I did my research before coming. Today I have to take you out to have a blast. Help me, help me." The piercing screams continued one after another, ringing in my ears for a full 5 minutes. I rubbed my numb ears, looking at the pale-faced person who had just thrown up. It was both funny and pitiful. I gently patted his back. "Do you feel better after throwing up?" I saw him about to vomit into the trash can again, so I quickly took out some tissues and opened a bottle of water. After he finished vomiting, I immediately handed him the water. Seeing Juyi rinse his mouth and not vomit anymore, I breathed a sigh of relief. People say the roller coaster here is a devil's paradise. I finally understand what hell is. Damn it, that scared me to death. Juyi had thrown up almost everything, and while wiping his mouth with a tissue, he patted his chest. Who was it that wanted to challenge their limits? You really brought this upon yourself. Juyi is a little afraid of heights, and to be so stubborn in this situation, one can only say he's a weakling who still wants to play. He brought this on himself. Lin Feng, I regret it, okay? He sat on the nearby steps, panting heavily. After resting for a while, Juyi's spirit had recovered about 70 to 80%. It was also lunchtime, so I suggested we go get something to eat first. Halfway there, passing tourists saw something, stopped in their tracks, and excitedly took pictures of the sky. So many balloons. Is this a surprise event for the park's opening? Is business this competitive now? With so many balloons, just inflating them must have taken hours. I looked up. The clear, cloudless sky was filled with balloons, like a vast blue ocean. Colorful ribbons tied to the balloons hung down naturally, and when the wind blew, they looked like dancing butterflies. A gossiper who saw a short video said with envy, "The case is solved. In the Central Plaza, a rich young master is creating a birthday surprise for his boyfriend." Why don't I ever encounter such romantic things? What terrible timing for gossip. Juyi had no interest in this kind of romantic gesture. He patted my shoulder. Let's go, I'm hungry. Universal Studios is very crowded on weekends. The pirate ship ride near the Central Plaza had 2 long lines. Liu Ruyan was waiting in line, while Fang Yuan bought a shaved ice drink nearby. Looking at the dense crowd ahead, there are only 10 more people before us, just a little longer. The temperature today shot up to 32 degrees. Liu Ruyan took off her jacket and draped it over her arm. While waiting, she scrolled through her phone out of boredom. The people next to them started to chat. Fang Yuan followed the crowd's gaze and saw that next to the carousel up ahead, a sea of balloons was slowly rising into the sky. A woman holding a bouquet of red roses walked towards a man, and then they embraced. It looked like a romantic love fairy tale. Is this a birthday surprise? So romantic. Fang Yuan felt a bit of anticipation. Today was also his birthday. He wondered if, besides the gift, Liu Ruyan had prepared any other surprises. Liu Ruyan glanced lazily in that direction, then lowered her head again with an indifferent expression. Others found it romantic. She just found it boring. It's not that she didn't know about Fang Yuan's anticipation. It's just that before, when she was with me, she had never arranged these kinds of flashy and practical things. Now she had even less reason to make an exception. After lunch, Juye bought 2 tickets for the animal show, excitedly wanting to take me to see the dolphins. Crossing the sea of people, we followed the crowd to the Animal Performance Theater in the southwest. The air conditioning was on inside, and compared to the scorching heat outside, it was like arriving in another paradise. I wasn't very interested in animal shows, but Juye really liked dolphins. When the interactive part came, he handed me his camera, asking me to take pictures for him. Half an hour later, the performance ended. I told Juye to wait for me here. I was going to the restroom for a moment. Just around the corner, I saw Fang Yuan washing his hands at the sink. My footsteps faltered, then I walked past him and went straight into a stall. When I came out, Fang Yuan was still standing there. He hadn't left. It seemed like he was intentionally waiting for me. I continued to ignore him, washing my hands intently. The sound of dripping water. The scene was silent. The atmosphere was becoming tense again. The moment I looked up, sure enough, my eyes met Fang Yuan's, but then I calmly looked away, as if facing a stranger. But Fang Yuan suddenly smiled. He glanced at his wrist, at the brand new latest model designer watch. Brother Feng, what a coincidence. I didn't answer. Fang Yuan didn't mind, and continued on his own. Have you been well recently? I gave a faint smile and replied coolly, not bad. Fang Yuan's eyes scanned over me, as if wanting to see if my composure was fake or real. A few seconds later, he laughed. Really? The days after moving out of the villa must not have been comfortable, right? None of your business. To be honest, I should thank you, really. If you hadn't been willing to back down, I probably wouldn't have been able to have Ruyan all to myself now. I quietly listened to the sound of the running water, carefully washing the soap suds from my hands. I washed very seriously and very intently. You must have seen that sea of balloons earlier, right? Today's my birthday. That was the birthday surprise Sister Ruyan gave me. Fang Yuan smirked and casually raised his hand. And this is the birthday present she gave me. Isn't it handsome? She said. My hands really suit this watch, that she thought of me the moment she saw it. I recognized it with a single glance when he turned, his wrist to reveal the logo. In an instant, I understood. So that day at the jewelry store, she was choosing a birthday gift for Fang Yuan. I turned off the faucet, my fist clenching slightly. I smirked self-deprecatingly. Is that so? Then congratulations to you. After saying that, I turned to leave. Zhu Ye was waiting at the exit and waved when he saw me come out. Didn't you eat enough? Why do you look so pale? I tiredly rubbed the bridge of my nose. Brother Yi, I want to go home. It's only 3 o'clock. We've only been here for a few hours. Lin Feng, hang out with me a little longer. I already queued on the app just now. It's said to be the hottest attraction here, the haunted house town. You're not afraid of ghosts, are you? Zhu Ye is decisive in his work and life, but he's surprisingly afraid of heights and ghosts, to the point that his face changes color at the mention of a horror movie. I'm not scared. With you by my side, I feel very safe. Heh. In the end, we still went to the entrance of the haunted house. Zhu Ye took out his phone to scan it at the ticket gate. Beep! And we were through. Then we went in. Behind the staff members, someone opened a double door. A cold wind blew out from inside, blowing up a corner of a curtain, revealing a dark hallway. Occasionally, screams could be heard echoing. Zhu Ye swallowed, gripping my arm tightly, and hesitated to go inside. I practically had to drag him along. Seeing his timid appearance, I found it a bit amusing. Maybe we shouldn't go? No way. We're already here. We're already here is a truly harmful phrase. Zhu Ye was clearly scared to death, but he refused to admit it, pretending to be brave as he pulled me forward. Suddenly, a creepy doll jumped out. Lin Feng, save me! Lin Feng, Lin Feng, Lin Feng, save me! Liu Ruyan suddenly turned her head. It seemed she had just heard someone calling Lin Feng's name, but searching everywhere, she couldn't find that familiar figure. She couldn't help but frown. Fang Yuan didn't notice her distraction. He impatiently pulled her hand. Sister Ruyan, don't be scared. He'll protect you later, okay? Liu Ruyan came back to her senses and gave a perfunctory, Mom. It was pitch black ahead, with only a dim red light flashing occasionally. Liu Ruyan felt no fear at all. On the contrary, Fang Yuan held her arm tightly the whole way, cowering fearfully beside her, not daring to take the lead and move forward at all. Coincidentally, a live actor dressed as a female ghost, with half of her facial skin falling off and a blood-stained face, appeared. He was so scared that he screamed his head off and dared not leave Liu Ruyan's side even for a second. So scary, Sister Ruyan. Is that thing gone yet? Fang Yuan stood frozen on the spot, trembling all over. Liu Ruyan perfunctorily patted his back. It's okay now. The cheap makeup, the dirty female ghost costume, she really couldn't understand why someone would be scared by such a clumsy trick. Lin Feng wouldn't be. When that name popped into her head, Liu Ruyan's body unconsciously stiffened. Why did I suddenly think of him? She had clearly wanted to break up for a long time. Sister Ruyan? Fang Yuan looked up and saw a fleeting, profound look in her eyes. He was a little suspicious. Liu Ruyan suppressed her emotions. Should we keep going? Let's go. He wasn't the only one scared into screaming. Before entering, Zhu Yi had gathered all his courage, but as a result, when he saw in the coffin, the little zombie suddenly opened its eyes. He was so scared that he jumped, immediately covered his head and ran, disappearing without a trace. I wanted to grab him, but because someone was running too fast, I couldn't react in time at all. At this speed, he could compete in a marathon. Zhu Yi ran towards the exit, but after he passed through, that exit was closed. I was left behind and wanted to get out, so I could only look for another way. I wandered around for a bit and accidentally met a pair of clear black and white eyes. The NPC in the coffin blinked and the long tongue prop in his mouth popped out at the wrong time. It was both pitiful and funny. I was silent for 2 seconds, then went forward to help him push it back in. NPC, you're quite kind, huh? The town has 3 exits. There was only a dim light in the hallway, so I wasn't surprised that I got lost. I walked in circles for 10 minutes, feeling that this place shouldn't be called a haunted house, it should be called a maze. After all, who would build 3 almost identical exits, one of which is a dead end? What if there's an accident? The next second, the alarm above my head rang urgently. What a coincidence. Did I jinx it? As soon as the fire alarm sounded, everyone in the haunted house immediately panicked, shoving and pushing towards the exit. There were slightly fewer people where I was standing, but everyone was desperately rushing out. I didn't know where the exit was, so I could only follow the crowd. The space around me became narrow. I frowned, feeling a little short of breath. I could only slow down, and soon I was the only one left in this area. Fortunately, after the alarm went off, the lights became a bit brighter, and 2 steps forward, there was a map. After passing through the second door smoothly, I heard the noise of the crowd not far away. I frowned and looked in that direction. The exit must be blocked because it's too crowded. Just as I was hesitating whether to push through, another group of people rushed from behind, leaving me with no way to retreat. I don't know who pushed me aside and who stepped on my foot. By the time I realized it, my whole body was pressed against the uneven wall. My chest was compressed, so painful that I gasped. Suddenly, I felt a gaze on me. I subconsciously looked up, and my eyes met hers. Liu Ruyan looked at my pathetic state, a little heartbroken and a little angry. It really is him. The sound of Lin Feng's name just now wasn't an illusion, but on second thought, he's in the mood to explore a haunted house. It seems his life after the breakup is quite carefree. Sister Ruyan? Fang Yuan nervously pulled Liu Ruyan's hand, his eyes unconsciously revealing a defensive look towards me. I lowered my eyes, clearly not wanting to pay attention to these two. I squeezed back into the crowd, preparing to leave with everyone else. Heads were packed together, the light in the cave flickered on and off. I don't know who screamed, but the next second, a suspended wooden sword was about to fall, and right under the sword was me. Watch out! Liu Ruyan acted purely on reflex. Without a second thought, she threw off Fang Yuan's arm that was holding her, then pushed through the crowd and pulled me to safety. Clang, the wooden sword fell to the ground, making a loud noise. Everyone gasped. It turned out the sword was made of iron, just painted to look like wood. If it had hit someone, the consequences would have been imaginable. I was still shaken. I felt a tight grip on my palm, and only then did I realize Liu Ruyan was still holding my hand. She still hadn't reacted, so I bluntly pulled my hand away. I leaned on the wall to stand up. Thanks. Seeing my distant expression, Liu Ruyan's deep dark eyes also darkened slightly. Besides thanks, do you have nothing else to say to me? I looked at her doubtfully. Besides thanks, is there anything else for us to say? Why did you block me? Liu Ruyan took a step forward, her hoarse voice a little low. I was surprised. It's not that we had never blocked each other when we argued before. It's just that I was always the one to give in first, and re-add her as a friend. But this time, I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint her. I smirked slightly. Isn't it normal to delete an ex after breaking up? Liu Ruyan was at a loss for words, and couldn't help but frown. So when are you planning to add me back? I furrowed my brow slightly and said softly, how about never? Seeing my lowered head, Liu Ruyan suddenly became irritated. How long are you going to be angry? Don't test my patience. I laughed sarcastically. The crowd surged forward again, and we were pushed apart. She wanted to reach for my hand again, but the next second, someone else's arms wrapped around her slender waist. Not far away, Fang Yuan saw this scene and was going crazy with jealousy. Unwilling to accept it, he pushed through the crowd and came to Liu Ruyan's side, hugging her. Babe, let's get out of here. It's too dark here, and it's not safe with so many people. Just then, a staff member's voice came from the door. The path obstruction has been resolved. Will the stranded visitors please line up in an orderly fashion to exit? With someone maintaining order, the scene quickly became less chaotic. I couldn't be bothered to look anymore and quickly walked out. Yu Ruyan pulled her hand away and followed. Fang Yuan gritted his teeth. Sister Ruyan, wait for me. At the ticket gate, Zhu Yi had gotten out early. He heard there was a path obstruction inside, and almost a fire. He remembered I hadn't come out yet, and if someone hadn't stopped him, he would have rushed in. Fortunately, in less than half an hour, I came out safely. Zhu Yi rushed over. Are you hurt? I heard the alarm just now. It almost scared me to death. I'm fine, let's go. Let's go home. After playing all day, I'm really a bit tired. Zhu Yi nodded. Then let's. Isn't that Liu Ruyan over there? Before he could finish his sentence, he saw Liu Ruyan and Fang Yuan walk out one after the other. Why do we have to run into such bad luck even when we're out having fun? I glanced over and then looked away. Don't be angry, it was just a coincidence. Let's go. On the way back, the more Zhu Yi thought about it, the angrier he got, and at the intersection, he turned the car around. I was a bit confused. Aren't we going home? I've decided not to go back. Isn't it just a woman? A three-legged toad is hard to find, but there are plenty of two-legged women. Let's go, it'll take you to broaden your horizons. 8 p.m., nightlife was just beginning. I was like a puppet, dragged into a noisy bar by Zhu Yi. The thick smell of smoke mixed with perfume, the lights flashed red and blue, and people were passing by everywhere. I was in my everyday clothes, completely out of place with everything around me. A spotlight shone down on the stage, where a female singer was singing a sentimental English song. Zhu Yi led me straight to a private room on the second floor and called a waiter to open a bottle of whiskey. I'm not used to drinking, so I ordered a light cocktail, but my face turned red after just a small drink. Brother Ye, I'm going to the restroom for a moment. Zhu Yi waved his hand. Go ahead, be quick. Coming out of the restroom, I ran into Xia Qing. Among Liu Ruyan's group of friends, I was a bit closer to Shen Zining, but I had no connection with Xia Qing, so at this moment I simply greeted her out of politeness. What a coincidence. Xia Qing had originally come here to drink with her friends, but she didn't expect this surprise encounter. Alone? As she spoke, she glanced a few more times at my slightly flushed face. No, I'm with a friend. My smile faded a little. Well, you enjoy yourself. You'll be going first. Lin Feng. Suddenly, Xia Qing called me back. The way she called my name made me uncomfortable, but I still tried to keep a smile on my face. Is there anything else? Did you and Ruyan really break up this time? I retorted. Is there a fake breakup? Xia Qing's gaze was profound, and only after a long moment did she nod. Mum, I see. As I turned to leave, possessed by some devil, she raised her phone, took a picture of my back, then opened WeChat, found their mutual group chat, and hit send. Look who I ran into. Damn, Brother Feng. For real? At a bar? Do you even need to ask? It's the one we always go to. Why aren't you saying anything? At Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan was at a Western restaurant with Fang Yuan, enjoying a candlelight dinner. When she saw the message, her face darkened a shade. Fang Yuan saw her expression suddenly darken and asked cautiously, "What's wrong?" Liu Ruyan suppressed her anger and said nothing. Scrolling through her phone, she replied with one sentence. What does it have to do with me? Xia Qing looked at the chat interface. The corner of her mouth lifted in a somewhat meaningful way. It seems you and Lin Feng really did break up this time. Liu Ruyan glanced at it, secretly gritting her teeth, but the message she sent seemed nonchalant. You have a problem with that? No, how would I dare to have a problem? She even attached a sticker of hands up in surrender. So if someone else pursues Lin Feng, I guess you wouldn't mind, right? Gu Mengqi suddenly jumped in. What's wrong? You want to pursue him? Xia Qing's eyes darkened slightly, replied with a gif. Ha ha ha. You're really something. No one really believed it. Liu Ruyan saw the sticker and didn't mind. She typed a reply. Fine, then go ahead and pursue him, having achieved her goal. Xia Qing put her phone away. I just wonder if Liu Ruyan will regret this later. Baby, thank you for being with me on my happiest birthday. 9 p.m. Liu Ruyan dropped Fang Yuan off at his dormitory. The boy held her hand, reluctant to leave. Just thinking about having to part with you. I can't bear it. He smiled brightly, playfully pretending to joke as he leaned his face close to hers. How can you be so calm? Aren't you sad to leave me at all? The boy's eyes were clear. His smile was as bright as the sun, and his voice was even more charming. Liu Ruyan's gaze wavered slightly, looking at the boy's upturned face. She reached out and patted his head as if coaxing a child. You have school tomorrow. You've been tired all day. Go back and rest early. Fang Yuan pursed his lips, a hint of disappointment flashing in his eyes. In the end, he still obediently replied, Okay, I'll head back first then. Half an hour passed just like that. Driving out of the Polytechnic University. The left was the way home. The picture of the silhouette that Xia Qing sent suddenly flashed in her mind. As if possessed, Liu Ruyan turned the steering wheel, heading straight to the right. Along the way, it started to drizzle. Water droplets gathered on the window pane. The red and green lights blurred into a brilliant smear of color. In the rearview mirror, A plaid wool blanket was tossed on the back seat. Fang Yuan must have used it just now and forgot to fold it when he got out of the car. Liu Ruyan suddenly remembered that she used to complain to him often that the ache in the car was set too low. It was so cold I'd shiver when I got in, after complaining several times to no avail. He had deliberately taken her to the mall to buy a light brown plaid wool blanket after they broke up. That blanket had been folded neatly on the back seat, unused, until today, when someone else unfolded it again. A sudden car horn pulled her back to her senses. The red light turned green. She stepped on the gas and sped off. Arriving at the bar, she tossed her keys to the bartender and familiarly walked through the first floor. She was a regular, so the manager immediately came to greet her. "Where's Xia? Miss Xia and everyone are in a private room on the second floor," ignoring the manager's warm welcome. Liu Ruyan went straight up to the second floor. The group gathered in the private room had already drunk quite a lot. They were swaying and staggering. Their speech was also jumbled. Liu Ruyan glanced around the room. I wasn't there. Xia was still quite sober. "Why are you here?" Xia looked surprised. "Aren't you with your little boyfriend?" "I just dropped him off at school," she replied nonchalantly, and found a place to sit. Xia didn't ask any more questions. The corner of her mouth lifted. "Just opened a Bourgogne. Want a glass?" As she spoke, she poured half a glass and handed it over. Liu Ruyan took a sip. Not bad. Pausing for a moment, she asked, feigning casualness, "Didn't you say earlier that Lan Feng was also here? Why don't I see him? Don't tell me you came all the way here just to see him?" Xia swirled the wine in her stemmed glass, a half smile on her face. Liu Ruyan's face paled slightly. "I just happened to want to come here for a drink, since it's a coincidence. Asking a question isn't illegal." Xia shrugged. "I just ran into him in the hallway. He just came for a drink. He probably went home a long time ago." Liu Ruyan said nothing, but her expression clearly relaxed quite a bit. "As expected, I'm not used to this environment." She put down her wine glass. She stood up. "I have work tomorrow. I'm leaving first. Put today's bill on my tab." Xia watched her retreating back, her gaze deepening slightly. A moment later, she sighed softly. "Sorry, my friend." The two of them were in the private room for less than an hour. Zhu Ye, having drunk half a bottle of wine, was dead asleep, oblivious to the world. I also had a little to drink, so I couldn't drive. In the end, I called a designated driver. After taking him back to his apartment, took a taxi from downstairs back to my rented place. It started raining heavily on the way, and it was already late. The taxi would only take me to the entrance of the alley. I didn't have an umbrella. It was pouring, and I didn't know when it would stop. I was about to run home in the rain when Zhu Ya's cold voice sounded from behind me, stopping me in my tracks. I turned my head to look. Zhu Ya emerged from the rain holding an umbrella. "Are you planning to run home in the rain?" Today she was wearing a more comfortable outfit, which made her look less serious than usual. I hesitated and nodded. That was indeed my plan. "You can use this umbrella." The woman pressed the umbrella into my hand and I frowned. "What about you?" "Actually, I wanted to say we could share it. I'll go borrow one from the restaurant." After saying that, she ran to the stir-fry restaurant across the street and asked to borrow a folding umbrella from the owner. I blinked. The owner of this restaurant has a strange temper. He doesn't even bother with his customers. How did she manage to borrow it? His house had some electrical problems before. I was passing by and helped him fix it. Zhu Ya didn't intend to explain much, seeing that the rain had let up a bit. She opened her umbrella and stepped into the rain. I looked at her back, stunned for 2 seconds, before following her. The streetlights in the old district were already dim, and the rain made them even weaker. A flash of lightning suddenly lit up the sky. The big trees rustled as they were blown by the strong wind. The two of them walked one after the other through the pouring rain in the alley. Both were silent. The rain was really too heavy. By the time I got home, my pant legs were so wet you could wring water out of them. I quickly took off my wet clothes and took a hot shower. The image of the woman with the umbrella unconsciously appeared in my mind. The life of studying was dry and dull, but I got used to it surprisingly quickly. Another day of studying came to an end. I went home and rubbed my shoulders, planning to go to bed early, but unexpectedly received a call from Professor Ouyang. The professor first asked how my studies were going. I briefly reported my progress. Ouyang Wenqiu then didn't press for details. She seemed very confident in me and I chuckled. Then I heard her on the other end say, "Come over to my place tomorrow morning." She hung up quickly after saying that, afraid that if she was even a second late I would refuse. The next day I woke up very early. I spent half an hour preparing breakfast. Of course, I didn't forget to prepare an extra portion for Zhu Ya next door. From last night until I went to bed, I didn't hear the door next door open. I guessed she must have pulled another all-nighter in the lab. I opened my door and sure enough, ran into her just as she was returning. 2 weeks had passed since that rainy night, probably because she had just come from the lab. The woman's usually neat sleeves were wrinkled. The exhaustion between her eyebrows couldn't be more obvious. I recalled the conversation I overheard last time and guessed that she probably, in the lab, ran into some trouble. I didn't ask much. I just held up the thermos in my hand. I cooked this millet porridge last night, letting it simmer on low heat until morning. People who stay up all night don't have much of an appetite. A little millet porridge to warm the stomach is just right. Previously, Zhu Ya could stay up for several nights without feeling unwell. But these past 2 days, perhaps due to irregular eating habits, her stomach had been aching dully. She wanted to eat something light. "The porridge you brought is just in time, thank you. That night, you lent me an umbrella to go home. I'm the one who should be saying thank you." I smiled faintly. Zhu Ya raised an eyebrow. "We're neighbors. It was just on the way." She then asked, "Are you about to go out?" I nodded. The professor asked me to go to her house. There's probably something she needs. I raised my hand to check my watch. It's almost time. I'll be going now. Remember to eat the porridge and egg while they're hot. Okay. Watching my back disappear around the corner of the stairs. Juya then opened the door and went inside. She opened the thermos lid, and a fragrant aroma filled her nostrils. The millet porridge was cooked until soft and creamy, with pumpkin added. She took a bite. The sweetness was just right, blending with the fresh fragrance of the millet. The egg was just a normal boiled egg, which she usually didn't like to eat. But feeling the warmth in her hand at that moment, she still carefully peeled the shell. It seems it's not as hard to eat as I imagined. By now, I'd arrived at the professor's house. I rang the doorbell, but the person who opened the door wasn't the professor. I only heard a girl's questioning, "Huh?" As she looked at me, she seemed to suddenly remember something. "Oh, it's you." Shiyu had come to get some documents, and hearing the noise, she took the initiative to open the door. The first time she saw me, she found me inexplicably familiar, and quickly remembered. That day at the school gate, a young man had rushed out, grabbed her and started asking about the professor's condition. She still remembered it to this day. The other person's worried expression, on the verge of tears. I was stunned for a moment, and also recognized who she was. I was about to speak, when Ouyang Wenqia's voice came from inside. "Is that Lin Feng?" Shiyu stepped aside to let me in. "Professor, I brought the water chestnut cakes I bought on the way," I said, changing my shoes in the entryway. "You're just in time. I am looking for some documents. Come in here and help me look, see if I found the right one." Ouyang Wenqiu, wearing her reading glasses, waved me over, put down the things in my hand, and walked over to her side. I saw a book on the table related to gene sequencing, written entirely in English, considered an extension of bioinformatics. "You have a good memory. I remember in this series there is a book specializing in genetic testing. Why can't I find it? I don't have a photographic memory. I just have a deeper impression of the main points. The book the professor mentioned, I happened to be in the library a few days ago, and flipped through it. My eyes scanned the bookshelf, sweeping across it. Suddenly my eyes lit up. Professor, is this the book you're looking for?" Ouyang Wenqiu looked at the cover. Yes. This is the one. Your eyes are still sharp. I've been looking for half a day. Turns out it was right in front of me. Shiyu, come here. This book, plus these original thesis documents, should be enough for your reference. You can take them for now. I'll look again later, to see if there's anything else. Thank you, Professor. Shiyu reached out and took them. Recently, she's been preparing her master's thesis, and lacked some documents. Hearing that Professor Ouyang had the originals, she came over this early. Only then did Ouyang Wenqiu remember to introduce the two. Lin Feng is a former student of mine, but soon he will be my student again. Shiyu was stunned, and only reacted after a moment. He's preparing to take the entrance exam for your graduate program? Ouyang Wenqiu immediately smiled, and said to me, her name is Shiyu. She's a second-year graduate student this year, preparing for her doctorate. Coincidentally, she's also studying for exams these days. You two can be study buddies. I nodded slightly. Hello, senior. My name is Lin Feng, so he's also Professor Ouyang's student. Thinking of this, Shiyu took out her phone and proactively exchanged WeChat with me. That's great, we can meet up at the library together. If there are any academic problems, we can discuss them together. After a brief chat, Shiyu had a class to attend, so she left first. I remembered the water chestnut cakes on the table, took a plate from the kitchen and arranged them. As soon as Ouyang Wenqiu saw them, she beamed. I haven't eaten these in a long time. Did you go buy them on purpose? This water chestnut cake shop in the east of the city is an old establishment, and is famously hard to buy from. I didn't mention that I had queued for nearly an hour. I was just passing by, so I bought some. Next time you come, just come empty-handed. I don't lack anything at home. That shop is far and you have to queue. It's not far, it was quick. The professor chuckled and patted my hand lightly. I have 2 sets of specialized exam papers. Give them a try. You deliberately called me over. Not just to watch me do homework, right? I deliberately pouted. Don't be a smooth talker. I'm pushing you to study, you know. Now go and do it right away. Looking at his agile back, Ouyang Wenqiu smiled with satisfaction. I stayed at the professor's house for the whole day, and in the evening, I cooked a sumptuous dinner for her. I only left after cleaning up the kitchen. That night, I was studying at home, when my phone suddenly vibrated. It was a message from Shiyu. Are you going to the library tomorrow? Let's go together? I thought for a moment and replied, okay, see you tomorrow. Early in the morning, I went to the library and saw Shiyu waiting for me at the entrance. Have you had breakfast? I brought you some. Shiyu came from the dormitory and bought an extra portion when she passed by the cafeteria. I said thank you, and finished the steamed bun and soy milk in a few bites. Then, the two of us walked into the library side by side. Shiyu had already saved a spot on the 2nd floor. The elevator doors opened. I was about to step in, when someone else quickly entered the elevator a step ahead of me. It was Fang Yuan and his roommate. He had originally set his alarm for 7 o'clock, but Fang Yuan couldn't get up. In the end, they were almost late, so the two of them had to run all the way here. What floor? I glanced at him and asked. 2nd floor, compared to my calmness. Fang Yuan, who had run without any regard for his image, secretly gritted his teeth. The two of them got out of the elevator together. Fang Yuan noticed something. Seeing the graduate school exam prep materials in my hand, his expression was a bit odd. You came to the library to study too? Don't tell me you're planning to take the grad school exam? I said nothing. My expression also very indifferent, Fang Yuan muttered to himself. So many current students can't even pass. Someone like you who graduated years ago, do you really think you can pass? I spoke indifferently. Whether I pass or not is another matter. The current student who can't pass that you mentioned, is that you? After hearing that, Fang Yuan almost lost his composure. He's a third-year student this year, and hasn't thought about getting a job yet, so he just started preparing for the grad school exam. Anyway, there's still a year, so no rush. In the same dorm room, someone had already made a study plan early on. Fang Yuan had been slacking off in college, thinking he'd take the exam if he passed, and if not, he still had Liu Ruyan to back him up. Being called out by me like that hit a sore spot for him. You think everyone is like you? Passing or not is fundamentally unimportant to me. She said that as long as it's something I want, she will deliver it to me. I didn't intend to say much. Is that so? Then I wish you can always be this confident. After saying that, I caught up with He Shiyu, who had already moved forward with the crowd, and had walked quite a distance. The roommate watched my departing back, then looked at the fuming Fang Yuan next to him. His eyes darted around, and couldn't help but ask curiously, Xiao Yuan, who is he? Fang Yuan answered perfunctorily, just a stranger I've met a few times. Let's go. Don't you want to get a good spot? Halfway there. He suddenly thought of something and asked his roommate, do you know how to cook millet porridge? I don't cook at home, but aren't there many tutorials online? You should go look it up. Fang Yuan immediately downloaded a cooking app, which had detailed steps inside. After finding a seat, he began to study it intently, spending the whole morning on it. His roommate saw that the book he brought hadn't even been opened, and was about to offer some advice, but then thought again. The guy has already hooked up with a rich woman. His future is set. Why should I say so much? At noon, after leaving the library, Fang Yuan went straight to the supermarket to buy a bunch of pots, pans, and millet. From today on, I have to learn how to be a competent boyfriend. It's not just him. I can also cook porridge. Liu Ruyan finished her work, completely exhausted. The driver took her to the villa gate. As soon as she got out of the car, an enthusiastic figure rushed over. Baby, I've been waiting for you for so long. You're finally back. Liu Ruyan had to take 2 steps back to steady herself. She signaled for the driver to leave first. When did you get here? I've been here since this afternoon. Are you this busy until late every day? It must be so hard. Should I give you a massage? He said, about to make a move. Liu Ruyan skillfully dodged him. I'm not tired. Do you have something to do here today? Fang Yuan pursed his lips, turned and picked up the insulated bag at his feet, and took out a bowl of millet porridge from inside. Didn't you say you wanted millet porridge last time? I cooked this. Try it and see how it tastes. Liu Ruyan frowned. She unlocked the door with her fingerprint and turned to look at him. Come inside first. This was the first time since they started dating that Fang Yuan was allowed into this villa. His heart pounded. He took a deep breath before following the woman inside. He knew the villa was huge and spacious, and very bright, but this was his first time inside. American-style decor, with a main color scheme of gray, brown, black, and white. Understated yet exuding luxury in its fine details. Fang Yuan had taken an art appreciation course in his sophomore year, and recognized the painting on the wall was by Ki Baishi. The surrounding furniture was even more priceless. Even a inconspicuous trash can had an LV logo printed on it. Past the living room was a meticulously cared-for indoor garden. Next to it were a private audiovisual room and a gym. In the corner, there was also a set of golf clubs. It was said this villa complex had its own golf course. He clenched his fists. Before meeting Liu Ruyan, the most luxurious thing he had ever seen was a crocodile skin Hermes Kelly bag worn by a female student in his department, a limited designer edition, valued at 300,000 yuan on the second-hand market. Could buy a 3-bedroom, 1-living-room house in her hometown while this villa is completely out of reach, but the H pattern is everywhere. Keychains, mahjong tiles, lighters. If he could stay by Liu Ruyan's side forever, marry her, have her bear his children, then wouldn't that mean he could also possess all of this? A big villa, designer watches, a chauffeur, servants. Liu Ruyan didn't notice Fang Yuan's distraction. The millet porridge was cooked very thick, but he only took 1 bite before putting down the spoon. Fang Yuan blinked, a questioning look on his face. Why aren't you drinking more? Is it because my cooking isn't good? I already ate after getting off work. I'm not very hungry right now. I'll drink it later. Well, okay, if you say it's not good. You'll be very sad. Fang Yuan's eyes were clear. This is my first time in the kitchen. Please bear with me. Liu Ruyan dotingly patted his head. No classes today? You had time to make porridge? Final exams are coming up, so there aren't many classes. Besides, I'm planning to take the graduate school entrance exam. I was studying in the library all day today. I only had time to come see you in the afternoon. Fang Yuan recalled seeing me, a glint in his eyes. He changed the subject. The news said, there's a meteor shower recently. Can we find some time to go watch it together? Liu Ruyan gave a soft, showing no trace of impatience. She instinctively picked up her glass of water to drink, her movements carrying a hint of frustration. The news nowadays is so unreliable. We'll talk about it when the time comes. Fang Yuan took the hint and didn't bring it up again. It's late. She stood up. Let me take you back to school. Fang Yuan bit his lip. Remembering the hairstyle he had deliberately gotten at the salon that afternoon, he smiled and wrapped his arms around the woman's slender waist, casually brushing past, as light as falling snow. Are you in such a hurry to send me away? His tone was playful, combined with the boy's innocent smile. It was like a marshmallow about to melt. The air seemed to be filled with a sweet fragrance. Liu Ruyan's lips curled slightly. My self-control is too weak. I don't dare to keep you. Is there anything you don't dare to do? The young man looked up. Of course. The woman gave a faint smile. Sister Ruyan. Actually, I don't have classes tomorrow. I can stay with you. Let's go. Liu Ruyan didn't wait for him to finish. She grabbed her car keys. It's getting late. Aren't you afraid the door manager will give you trouble again? Fang Yuan had to give up and followed behind her. When they reached the door, his feet stopped. Sister Ruyan, you said there are things you don't dare to do, so let me mention one more thing. Do you dare? Liu Ruyan raised an eyebrow. Do you dare to register my fingerprint? Fang Yuan pointed to the lock on the front door, his face dejected, like an aggrieved puppy, looking so pitiful. I've waited for you at the door several times. Look at my hands and arms. I have so many mosquito bites. Can you bear to see me get bitten so miserably again next time? I can bear it. Fang Yuan jumped for joy. Actually, I did it on purpose. I just wanted to register my fingerprint so I can legitimately come find you in the future. The woman laughed. Why are you still such a child? Liu Ruyan registered his fingerprint. She recalled the bowl of millet porridge he had deliberately brought today and the red marks on his hands and feet. She reached into her pocket. This is my supplementary card. It has a monthly limit of 100,000. Buy yourself some things you like. Fang Yuan was a bit panicked. No. How can I take your money? It's perfectly normal for a girlfriend to spend money on her boyfriend, isn't it? Take it. There's no need to feel any psychological burden, all right then? Fang Yuan smiled, his eyes sparkling. Then I'll bring you millet porridge again tomorrow, okay? Liu Ruyan waved her hand. No need. It's not the right taste. It's useless no matter how many times I eat it. After studying for a whole day, Hishiyu and I parted ways outside the library. Hishiyu truly lived up to her reputation as that year's top graduate school applicant. She ranked first in both the preliminary and final rounds. She's very experienced with exam preparation. She even proactively helped me highlight some key points. I originally planned to treat her to a meal, but Hishiyu suddenly got a call from her roommate. We agreed to continue studying the next day, so she left first. The June weather was gradually getting a bit muggy. I could feel the hot air blowing in my face. I went home and turned on the air conditioner for a while. Only then did I feel like I'd come back to life. I opened the fridge, planning to make garlic stir-fried broccoli and asparagus with meat, plus a corn and rib soup. I can mistreat anyone but myself. After the meal was cooked, I suddenly heard a faint noise outside the door. I thought maybe Joya was back. I opened the door, but didn't see my neighbor. Instead, I saw the cleaning lady. Young man, is something wrong? I shook my head. Nothing. The next day, as agreed with Hishiyu yesterday, I arrived at the library at the appointed time. I brought breakfast for Hishiyu yesterday. Hishiyu didn't accept my money for breakfast, so today I brought some for her too. It's only fair. Hishiyu scratched her head, clearly a little unused to it. Thank you, you're too polite. The spot I usually sit in is by the window. The lighting is good there, and there are few people. It's very suitable for studying. I just didn't expect to turn around and see Fang Yuan. He came alone today. I don't know if he deliberately chose this spot, and I wasn't interested in guessing. I calmly took out my books and practiced tests and started working. In contrast, the person sitting not far away, Fang Yuan, was constantly distracted, fidgeting restlessly. His gaze would occasionally dart towards me. I seemed completely oblivious, occasionally turning the pages of my book. My focused profile had an indescribable, quiet handsomeness. Even Fang Yuan had to admit that I was breathtakingly handsome at that moment. Perhaps this was why, even though Liu Ruyan and I had broken up, she still couldn't let go of me. Fang Yuan's grip on his pen suddenly tightened. He remembered that day in the haunted house. Liu Ruyan's back as she abandoned him, running towards me without hesitation. He was truly panicking. Before, he had no right to care so much, but now, he was Liu Ruyan's official boyfriend. He couldn't lose. Hishiyu started preparing for her PhD entrance exams in her first year of graduate school. She had found a very suitable study rhythm. Under her guidance, my efficiency also increased quite a bit. I finished 2 sets of practice tests in one morning. When Hishiyu helped me grade them, she was surprised to find that the accuracy rate for both tests was as high as 95%. Hearing that I had graduated 3 years ago and had only recently started studying again, she didn't expect me to be so good. No wonder Professor Wu Yang valued him so much. I didn't know what Hishiyu was thinking. I said a quick word and stood up to go to the restroom. On the other side, Fang Yuan saw this and immediately followed. Wait. I turned back, unsurprised by his appearance. Is there something you need? Last night, I went to the villa and brought her millet porridge. She loved it. She drank every last drop. Fang Yuan chuckled softly. Not only that, Sister Ruyan also had me stay the night. It was my first time discovering that she had such a gentle side. He deliberately spoke ambiguously. My chest tightened, making it hard to breathe. Are you jealous? Fang Yuan leaned into my ear. Do you regret it? Too bad you don't have a chance anymore. Suddenly, I broke into a smile. I looked at Fang Yuan and said, word by word, how do you know about these things? Does she only do them with you? Fang Yuan's face turned pale, as he heard me say with a deadpan expression, maybe you're just one of many, and you certainly won't be the last. After speaking, regardless of how ugly his expression became, I slipped past him and left. After finishing the last question, Hishiyu realized the seat next to her had been empty for a while. She picked up her phone, intending to text and ask. A figure flashed by. It was me. I had returned. She tilted her head and saw my pale face, a little worried. Are you okay? Are you not feeling well somewhere? I shook my head. I'm fine. Maybe it's just too hot. I feel a bit stuffy. Let's continue. 5 p.m. The day of studying came to an end. Hishiyu remembered how yesterday they couldn't have dinner because of an incident. I heard from my roommate that a new hot pot restaurant opened nearby. That's really good. Let's go together, my treat. I stood there silently. Others couldn't tell, but I knew that all afternoon, my mind had been far away. Hearing Hishiyu's words now, I could only shake my head apologetically. I'm sorry. I'm not feeling well today. Maybe next time. Hishiyu didn't mind either. Okay? He'll treat you when there's another chance. When I got home, I felt completely drained of energy. I collapsed onto the sofa in the fish tank I'd been keeping for a while. The little goldfish had grown a bit bigger. It was gurgling, blowing bubbles, watching the goldfish swim back and forth. I gradually felt sleepy. By the time I woke up again, it was completely dark. I grabbed my phone to check. I didn't realize it was already 8 p.m. No wonder I was woken up by hunger. I slipped on my slippers, intending to make something to eat in the kitchen. Halfway there, I remembered I'd been too busy lately. The food in the fridge had long been eaten by me. I had originally planned to buy groceries in the afternoon, but I ended up forgetting completely. The supermarket shouldn't be closed at this hour, so I grabbed my keys and went out. There weren't many vegetables left, but the fish and shrimp in the fresh seafood section were still jumping. I ended up buying a snakehead fish. I suddenly craved a sour soup flavor, so I went to the seasoning aisle. With great difficulty, I found a pre-packaged packet of pickled vegetables. I immediately reached for it and accidentally touched a warm hand. The woman's hand was snow-white and soft, slender and beautiful. My gaze shifted slightly, and I saw her shopping cart was full of pre-cooked meals. My eyes moved upward. The owner of the hand also happened to be looking down at me. I smiled. You're not planning to just eat this for dinner, are you? But sometimes I get home too late and don't want to order takeout, so I just make do with something simple, Zhou Ya said nonchalantly. I've already calculated it. These things are enough to provide a person with a day's worth of the necessary protein and vitamins, and also carbohydrates. I looked at her serious expression as she explained and couldn't help but laugh. It seems Professor Zhou has, through scientific calculation and precise control, considered every aspect, but between fresh, hot food and soup, and these things placed before you to choose, what would you choose? Zhou Ya fell silent. The answer was obvious. If there's hot food, who would want to eat instant meals? I smiled slyly. So, Professor Zhou, let me cook dinner. In return, you just need to help me with one thing. Half an hour later, Zhou Ya looked at the fish on the cutting board. It seemed difficult to handle. I cleared my throat softly. Actually, the supermarket usually has someone who specializes in filleting fish, but it was too crowded today, so they only did a rough job. If you, Zhou Ya rolled up her sleeves, took off her glasses, let me try. I nodded. Okay. For fish with pickled greens, filleted fish absorbs the flavor better. Filleting raw fish is a bit troublesome. I just wanted to be a little lazy, but when I saw Zhou Ya standing in the kitchen, I suddenly felt a little guilty. Having a physicist fillet a fish, isn't that a waste of talent? 5 minutes later, I looked at the raw fish slices, whose thickness and size were almost identical, and decided to take back what I had just said. What waste of talent? Clearly, she is incredibly talented. Is this okay? Zhou Ya asked, wiping her hands. Yes. Your skills are almost on par with a professional chef. Zhou Ya was amused by my words. The corners of her mouth lifted. I've never cooked before, but I learned dissection back when I studied biology. So, I bought the fish. Zhou Ya reciprocated by buying some meat and vegetables. The two of us had a hearty fish hot pot. After the meal, Zhou Ya proactively went to wash the dishes. When the cleaning was almost done, I spoke up. It's very late. You should head back first. I can take out the trash. Zhou Ya has a habit of jogging every evening, but it was indeed too late today. It was almost 12 o'clock. She didn't stay long either. I slept for a long time in the late afternoon. I thought I wouldn't be able to sleep, but unexpectedly, after seeing Zhou Ya off, I already felt sleepy. It was a dreamless night. The next day, I woke up before 7 a.m. I'm so jealous of you. You go to the library to study every day and then go home to sleep, unlike me, who has to go on a blind date early in the morning. On the screen, Zhou Yi thought about his blind date whom he had only met a few times. He lost all interest. I'm jealous of you. Then come study with me at the library today. I could hear the frustration in his voice, and deliberately changed the subject. Zhou Ye pouted. Then never mind. I'd rather go on a blind date. He wasn't the academic type. Getting into B University was already an unexpected joy. Having a study god like Zhou Ya in the family was enough. He wouldn't join the fray. Oh right, that time we went out to take photos. I forgot to send you the pictures. I'll send them to you now, okay? Ding dong. Zhou Ya sent the photos via Vex. I flipped through them one by one. When I got to the last one, there was only a picture of me alone. I was about to turn off my phone when I noticed among the pedestrians in the background two familiar figures. A bitter look appeared on my face. It must have accidentally captured Fang Yuan and Liu Ruyan. In the photo, I was the main subject. The people behind were just the background, but their hands were clasped together. It was as if I had accidentally stumbled into someone else's world. Aunt Zhang. Aunt Zhang. Liu Ruyan clutched her stomach, her face pale as she called out twice, but the villa remained silent. There was no answer. Early in the morning, she was woken by pain. Waves of sharp pain radiated from her stomach. A cold chill ran through her body. She felt nauseous, wanting to vomit, but couldn't throw anything up. This feeling was very familiar. Her stomach problems were flaring up again. Remembering she had stomach medicine stocked at home, Liu Ruyan thought for a moment and started rummaging through the cabinets. But there was only one medicine box left, and the medicine inside was gone. She endured the pain and called her assistant. Come over and bring some stomach medicine to the villa. The assistant heard this and didn't dare to delay. She immediately went to the pharmacy to buy a box and drove to the villa. The assistant saw Liu Ruyan's deathly pale face, sitting silently on the sofa, her forehead covered in cold sweat. Director Liu. Liu Ruyan took the pill and warm water from the assistant and swallowed it down. Do you want to eat something? Liu Ruyan waved her hand. You can go first. The assistant breathed a sigh of relief and quietly left. But less than an hour later, Liu Ruyan's call came again. What kind of stomach medicine did you buy? I took it and it had no effect at all. I told you to buy medicine. Such a simple thing, and you can still mess it up. Are you illiterate or just blind? Liu Ruyan really wanted to control her emotions, but the pain in her stomach didn't lessen at all, making it very difficult for her not to get angry. Seeing the medicine box on the coffee table, she realized it wasn't the kind she usually took. No wonder it wasn't working. The assistant apologized. Director Liu, I didn't notice before. What brand of stomach medicine do you want me to buy? Liu Ruyan stared at the medicine box, and her mind suddenly went blank. Before, I was the one who always prepared it for her. She never cared about the brand or the manufacturer. Every time she took it, it worked immediately. Thinking of this, she angrily hung up the phone. Then she found my number. Sorry, the number you have dialed is busy. Her face darkened, remembering she was still on my blacklist. Just then, the sound of a door opening was heard. It was Aunt Zhang, back from the market. Liu Ruyan doesn't like having strangers in the house, so she comes and goes at a fixed time every day. She was preparing to go home after cleaning when she suddenly saw a figure walking towards her. Aunt Zhang, where's your phone? Aunt Zhang was startled by her pale appearance. Miss, what's wrong with you? Liu Ruyan was extremely annoyed, her voice even more impatient. Let me borrow your phone for a moment. I'm making a call. Getting the phone. She didn't even have to think before she could expertly dial that number. Ring, ring. The other end picked up quickly. What's wrong? Aunt Zhang's familiar voice came through. Before it connected, Liu Ruyan wanted to ask if I was finally done messing around and when I would get my ass back here, but now those words were stuck in her throat. She couldn't utter a single word. In the end, she only said softly, my stomach hurts. On the other end, I froze for a moment. The image from the photo flashed in my mind, her and Fang Yuan, hand in hand, laughing and talking. I said nonchalantly, if you're sick, go to the hospital. I'm not a doctor. After saying that, I hung up, my tone light and casual, as if the person on the other end was truly just a stranger. Liu Ruyan was so angry she clenched her jaw, her whole body trembling. She threw the phone straight at the wall, smashing it to pieces. Aunt Zhang stood beside her. That was her phone, furious from my words. Liu Ruyan felt her stomach hurt even more. Driven by a bit of stubborn spite, she went straight upstairs and locked herself in her room. Do you really think I can't live without you? Ridiculous. Aunt Zhang looked at her broken phone, thought back to the call just now. She shook her head and sighed. I don't know what the miss is thinking anymore. A good young man like me, she actually had the heart to chase me away. In the afternoon, after Aunt Zhang finished cleaning, she knocked on the bedroom door before leaving. The miss didn't answer. She thought Liu Ruyan was still angry, so she didn't think much of it and left first. In the afternoon, Liu Tian drove to the villa. He familiarly used his fingerprint to unlock the door and then opened the door to the house. Sis. I'm here to deliver Mom's order. This time, it's the young master of the Qin family, a PhD from Columbia University. Sis, are you there? He frowned. He called Liu Ruyan. Then he heard the phone ringing right next to him. Looking down, he saw the phone on the coffee table. The phone is at home. She must be at home too. After thinking for a moment, he went straight up to the second floor. Sis, are you in there? Mom sent me to find you, to have a meal with the Qin family. Do you hear me? He knocked on the door for a long time. There was no answer from inside. Why isn't there any sound? Liu Tian frowned. He called Aunt Zhang. The young mistress has been at home the whole time. She didn't look well. Her stomach problem must have flared up again. There's still no sound. Don't tell me she fainted in there. As soon as Liu Tian heard that, he hurriedly got the spare key to open the door. Sure enough, as soon as the door opened, he saw Liu Ruyan's face, pale as a sheet. She was lying motionless on the floor. Sis, the cold IV fluid was injected. That heavy, inescapable feeling. The pain seemed to subside a little. Liu Ruyan tiredly opened her eyes. Her throat was so dry it felt like it would smoke. Shen Zining saw that she was awake. He hurriedly poured a glass of water and handed it to her, to soothe the dryness in her throat. She shook her head. She motioned for Shen Zining to put the glass down. Sister Ruyan, are you feeling better? Liu Tian called us just now and said you had fainted. It scared everyone, and we rushed over. That's right, Yan Yan. Usually you look fine, and then you suddenly end up in the hospital. You nearly scared us to death. Liu Ruyan's gaze swept around. There were quite a few people gathered in the hospital room. Xia Qing, Gu Mengqi, and the others were all here. Liu Tian stood by the bed, looking at her with a worried expression. Even Shu Yuqin had come. Only I wasn't there. Liu Ruyan sneered. Lin Feng is so cruel. What's my condition now? The doctor said your diet has been irregular. Plus, you might have drunk a bit too much these past few days. You have a stomach perforation. Liu Tian pouted. You have no idea, sis. The way you looked just now, you nearly scared me to death. I walked into the room and saw you collapse there. My soul nearly left my body. Thankfully, you're okay. The doctor said you have to rest well. Don't take it lightly. Shu Yu-kin, who was beside her from the moment she woke up, had been scowling, looking like a storm was about to break. Now seeing her weak appearance, she finally couldn't hold back her anger. Where is Lin Feng? Something this serious happened. Why isn't he here yet? Liu Tian was also a bit puzzled. If it were before, when his sister was hospitalized, he would have long been by her bedside serving tea and water. His heart would be aching and he'd be on the verge of tears. Why isn't there even a shadow of him this time? As soon as these words were spoken, a dead silence suddenly spread. Liu Ruyan was expressionless and said nothing. Shen Jining, Gu Mengxi, and the others, who knew what had happened, didn't dare to speak. It was Ye Qing who casually said from the side, the two of them broke up. Didn't you know? Shu Yuqin frowned. Why is he still throwing a tantrum? It's been several days. His temper has really grown. After hearing this, Liu Ruyan's face darkened even more. Auntie, I'm afraid it's not that simple this time. Xia Qing glanced at Shu Yuqin. What do you mean? Is Lin Feng putting on airs? Mom. Liu Ruyan cut in. Her voice was very cold. Her expression was even colder. This time we really broke up. I was the one who suggested it. Shu Yuqin was stunned. Liu Tian also had a look of astonishment. Counting the time, this time my tantrum has indeed lasted a bit long. Shu Yuqin walked out of the hospital room. She didn't even wait to leave the hospital. She immediately called me. As soon as the call connected, before the other side could speak, she let out a cold laugh. Lin Feng, who the hell do you think you are? My daughter noticed you in the first place. It was your good fortune from 8 past lives. How much money has she spent on you all these years? How have you repaid her? You heartless thing. Even a stray dog on the street knows more gratitude than you. She gritted her teeth. My daughter is sick now. When are you going to get your ass back here? I listened quietly until the end. I didn't even interrupt. I just calmly said one thing. I'm sorry. Your daughter has nothing to do with me anymore. I ended the call. I then blocked Shu Yuqin's number. Then I opened WeChat and deleted her. After making sure I had done all this, I let out a heavy breath. I felt an unprecedented sense of relief and comfort. On the other end, Shu Yuqin was hung up on. With a look of disbelief on her face, she called again, only to get a busy signal. She was so angry she stomped her feet on the spot. Fine, you're really something, Lin Feng. Shu saw the corner of my mouth, lift into a faint smile and asked, Is something wrong? I shook my head, just dealing with a few annoyances. At the end of a day of studying, it was already dark. We left the library. The night breeze carried a slight chill. The dim yellow lights shone on the sidewalk. The leaves rustled in the wind. Hishiyu looked at my side profile. Fair and flawless, yet it held a certain coldness. She gathered her courage. Yesterday you said we should eat together some other day. Why not today? There's no time like the present. How about today? Of course, if it's not convenient for you, then forget it. I thought for a moment. Hishiyu has helped me a lot lately. I should have treated her to a meal sooner. Okay, I have food at my place. If you don't mind, you can try my cooking. Hishiyu was a little surprised. Your place? I nodded. It's about a 10-minute walk, very close. But if you think it's more convenient to eat out, we can go out to eat too. You can choose what to eat. Hishiyu saw that I wasn't thinking much of it. She was both disappointed and relieved. No. At home is great. It's clean and hygienic. Then it'll trouble you. I went home and checked the fridge first. There was still quite a bit of food left from yesterday. I prepared potato and beef tendon stew, sweet and sour pork ribs, scrambled eggs with tomato, and a stir-fried seasonal vegetable dish. My movements while washing and chopping vegetables were very swift. It astonished Hishiyu, who couldn't cook at all. Most people nowadays order takeout or eat out. People like you who cook for themselves, especially guys, are becoming rarer. I gave a faint smile. Everyone has their own way of life. I'm just used to cooking for myself. Hishiyu watched my busy back. She looked around. The apartment wasn't big, but it was kept very clean. The decor was also very thoughtful. There was a small bookshelf in the living room. It was filled with books. She glanced over and found they were all specialized books. Among them, one book looked a bit out of place. Because it was a book on physics, she felt that staring at a guy like this and observing his room was a bit impolite, so she didn't dare to look for too long. Soon, the dishes were served on the table. Paired with steaming hot rice, the aroma went straight to her nose. Hishiyu tasted a piece of the sweet and sour pork ribs. Her eyes widened in amazement. This is so delicious. You're such a good cook. She was used to eating greasy and salty takeout food. Now eating the food I cooked, she was truly amazed as if it were food from the gods. I was amused by her exaggerated expression. If you like it, eat more. Hishiyu nodded. Thank you so much for the meal today. She thought of something. Her eyelashes fluttered shyly. With such good cooking skills, and being such an outstanding person, your girlfriend must be very happy. Before I could say anything, a series of loud knocks came from the door. I frowned. I put down my chopsticks. You go ahead and eat. I'll go see what's wrong. I opened the door. Without a word, Liu Tian grabbed me and tried to pull me outside. I was completely stunned. Come to the hospital with me. My sister is sick and hospitalized. She needs you. I didn't move, looking down. We've already broken up. Her business has nothing to do with me. Liu Tian truly couldn't believe it, that these words came from my mouth. My sister has a stomach perforation, and you're still sulking? Don't you have a heart? Don't you love her? Is this your love? You clearly know she suggested breaking up, just on a whim, and you took it seriously, and now you're throwing a tantrum. blaming my sister for not coaxing you. In these 6 years, has my sister been bad to you in any way? You live in a villa, you wear designer clothes. Designer clothes, any watch you want. You can swipe the black card whenever you want. Liu Tian listed them off, feeling jealous himself. He didn't even have a black card. And I even spoke up for you before. I'm just asking you to visit her at the hospital. Is that so unpleasant? My expression was indifferent. My tone was also without a ripple. Yes, I don't want to. You can go now. Fine. Liu Tian laughed out of anger. Remember what you said today? You'd better stay this tough forever. Don't come crying and begging my sister to take you back. After saying that, he kicked the door hard. He left without looking back. Hearing Liu Tian's departing footsteps, my fingers clutching the doorknob turned a few shades paler. Are you okay? He Shiu spoke up, a bit awkwardly. She was in the room and couldn't hear clearly, but she vaguely knew that two men were arguing. I closed the door. I turned back and smiled at her. It's nothing. Let me get you another bowl of rice. He Shiu glanced at my expression. It was very calm, nothing unusual. Okay, but in the second half, the atmosphere was clearly a bit strange. Even though the food was full of color, aroma, and flavor, He Shiu ate with a sense of unease. She finally managed to finish eating. She hurriedly excused herself and left. The house suddenly became quiet again. I cleaned up the dishes, but Liu Tian's words involuntarily echoed in my mind. Stomach perforation. I was distracted for a moment. My hand slipped. The bowl broke and I reflexively used my hand to pick it up. I accidentally touched a shard. I hissed. My hand was immediately cut. 6 years is not 6 days, nor is it 6 months. Some habits have long been ingrained in my bones. The moment I heard Liu Ruyan was hospitalized, I almost instinctively worried. Instinctively, I wanted to go to the hospital to check on her. Fortunately, reason stopped that instinct. I think I'll slowly get used to not worrying anymore. Liu Ruyan and I, from the time we fell in love so brightly, until we grew tired of each other, until we finally broke up. I don't know when it started. The crack appeared. Maybe it was the first time she broke a promise, or maybe it was the first time she lied. Thinking back now, I can only remember some vague fragments. 6 years can be tragically moving, or it can be not worth mentioning at all. Liu Tian, in his leather shoes, rushed downstairs angrily. Because he was in such a hurry, he tripped on some trash in the hallway. He was so angry that he cursed loudly. Damn it, what kind of hellhole is this? It's messy and smelly. This is pissing me off. Suddenly, his phone rang. Sis, why are you calling? Didn't the doctor tell you to rest well? He was full of anger. But thinking of Liu Ruyan as a patient, his tone couldn't help but soften a bit, but it was still somewhat stiff. In the hospital, Liu Ruyan had just woken up from a nap. When she heard that Liu Tian had gone out, they said he went to find Lin Feng, to ask him to visit her at the hospital. Shen Jining shrugged. He spread his hands, meaning he couldn't be stopped at all. Liu Ruyan's eyes flickered slightly. She waited another 40 minutes. During that time, she felt thirsty and drank water. She sat up and turned over again, and she glanced at the door countless times. Finally, she couldn't take it anymore and called Liu Tian's number. Where are you? Liu Tian answered vaguely. Out. How much longer until you get here? Liu Tian couldn't drag me along. He didn't want to go back to the hospital and get an earful from his sister, so he probably wouldn't be coming. I'm going home to get the chicken soup Mom made for you. Isn't Lin Feng with you? The other end noticed his tone wasn't right. He immediately said, no. Liu Ruyan held the phone. Her lips were pressed tightly together. Who told you to go find him? What does my being hospitalized have to do with him? Does every single one of you not understand what a breakup is? Meddling in other people's business. Yes, it's me. Meddling in other people's business. So it turns out I'm the only annoying and troublesome one. You two are so noble. Neither of you cares about the other. Liu Tian also got angry. Did they think he was a pushover? What do you mean? Liu Tian snorted coldly. He, Lin Feng, already said it. Your business has nothing to do with him. Whether you're sick or dying, it doesn't matter. You can't go to him for any of it. He just doesn't want to come to the hospital to see you. Are you satisfied now? Hello? Sis? The other end suddenly went silent. He took the phone down to look. The call had long been disconnected. In the hospital room, Aunt Zhang looked at Liu Ruyan's cold and gloomy eyes, and glanced at the shattered phone on the floor. Another one broken. Aunt Zhang reflexively clutched the phone in her own pocket. She had just compensated the young mistress. She couldn't lend it out again. At the beginning of July, the temperature gradually rose. The meteorological station issued a red alert. The high temperature of 35 degrees had lasted for a week. Zhou Ya's experiment, after repeated calculations and verifications, finally made progress. She finally had some time to rest. She dragged her tired body up to the 7th floor, ready to get a good night's sleep to recharge. Suddenly, a noise came from across the hall. Her movement to open the door paused. She turned to look at the tightly closed door. She went forward and knocked a few times. Lin Feng, are you home? There was no answer, so she knocked a second time. Still no sound. She hesitated for 2 seconds. Just as she was hesitating whether to call the police, she heard a click and the door opened. My whole body emerged from behind the door, leaving only a crack. Is something wrong? My expression was calm. The action of opening the door also seemed to be only because she had suddenly knocked. My voice was the same as always, with nothing unusual about it. But for some reason, Zhou Ya felt that. My mood right now was not good, like a large, dehydrated tree, about to wither. Joya didn't say anything for a long time. I looked at her with confusion. Suddenly, the woman spoke. Last time you said you were writing a thesis. How is it progressing? I finished and submitted it half a month ago. For the past 2 months I've been studying and waiting for the results. Joya pushed up her glasses. I have a thesis in my hands. It's only half finished. Are you interested in taking a look? 20 minutes later. At Joya's place. I sat on the sofa, looking at the paper thesis in my hand. A glint of light flashed in my eyes. The thesis topic Joya gave me was on the biological chain. It discussed the initial transformation value of organisms. The topic wasn't exactly novel, but the angle of approach was very fresh. The verification method was also unprecedented. All new conclusions, new methods. But innovation means it requires a large amount of strong data for support. Is this your thesis? Joya nodded. I started preparing it in my sophomore year of university. I felt a bit complex. No wonder after so many years, the lecturers in the bioinformatics department still sighed with regret over Joya giving up biology to choose physics. This was truly a case of heaven chasing her to feed her. To be able to write a thesis at this level as a sophomore. Why didn't you submit it? I felt it could be more perfect. Look at these 2 parts. Neither has complete experimental data to support the conclusions. After I changed my major, physics became everything. I didn't have any spare time to finish it. Speaking of this, a hint of regret flashed in the woman's eyes. I pondered for a moment. Then why are you showing it to me today? A while ago, Professor Ouyang gave the thesis you completed in university to me. She asked me to help take a look, to see if I could suggest any new topics. Then I discovered you had worked on a similar topic. She pointed to the thesis in my hand. So what I want to ask is, are you still interested in continuing? My heart stirred slightly. Something that had been buried very deep seemed about to break through the earth. Ever since graduating, I haven't been in a lab. Can I do it? Although I haven't touched it in a long time, those steps are all in my head. It's just that, in the end, I'm still a bit scared. I don't know if I can still get used to the pace of the lab like before. As long as you want to, there's no problem. Joya said that next October, the Chinese Academy of Sciences will establish an experimental group. Master's and PhD students can also apply. The topic happens to be related to the gene chain. If you can pass the graduate entrance exam this year, then after enrolling next year, you'll have a chance to apply to join. This experimental group is led by several academicians in the field of general biology. The project was approved last year. The public hasn't received the news yet, but it's common knowledge within University B. This is a rare opportunity for me. If you're interested, you can take it back and have a close look. She took out a USB drive and placed it in front of me. The detailed experiment documents are in here. I looked up, a ripple in my clear pupils. Thank you. I will think about it carefully. It's 10 o'clock. I should be heading home soon. Joe, you saw me to the door. I just live right across the hall. You don't need to see me out. I laughed. Joya glanced at my finger, which I had inadvertently revealed. She reminded me faintly. You can't leave a Band-Aid on for too long. After disinfecting with iodine, it's best to leave it open to the air. I instinctively curled my index finger. Thanks, I know. Ju, you didn't say much. She just nodded slightly. Turning around, she picked up a small pink succulent pot. This is for you. I was a little surprised and blinked. I looked at the palm-sized succulent pot. It was plump. The glossy green leaves gradually turned pink. It looked very beautiful. It's so cute. You really want to give this to me? Huh? A few days ago, I passed by a flower shop. I saw only this one lonely pot left, so I bought it. It's very beautiful. I really like it. Do you like it? Consider it a thank you for treating me to a meal last time. I curled my lips into a smile. I'll accept it this time then. But it's just a meal between friends. There's no need to be so formal. Don't return the favor next time, okay? I blinked. Her clear eyes sparkled, as if 1,000 stars were twinkling. Okay. Juya's heart felt like it was gently tickled by a feather. In the hospital room early in the morning, Gu Mengqi and Shen Jining had arranged to visit. Gu Mengqi was ostentatiously holding a thermos. Ruyan, don't say your sister doesn't take care of you. Look what I brought for you. Millet porridge. Heh. I know your stomach isn't well. You can only eat light food. I especially had my chef wake up early to cook it. Don't be fooled by this small bowl. The ingredients are very nutritious. I guarantee you'll feel strong as an ox right after eating it. Shen Jining looked at the fragrant bowl of porridge, the golden millet porridge. Then he looked at Gu Mengqi's smiling face. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. Did this person come to deliver porridge, or to cause trouble? Others might not know, but it was as clear as day to them. Liu Ruyan doesn't like to eat porridge, except for the stomach-soothing porridge I used to make. As for the rest, even looking at it annoyed her. As expected, Liu Ruyan reluctantly took a bite. Then, her face darkened as she threw down the spoon. I'm not eating anymore. It tastes weird. Where did you find your chef? They can't even cook a bowl of porridge properly. Gu Mengqi raised an eyebrow. Tisk, you're being too picky. I ate it and thought it was fine. Liu Ruyan's face was emotionless. If you want to eat it yourself. Gu Mengqi snorted softly. I don't think it's the porridge that's wrong. It's the person who made it that's wrong. My chef is an old man. How can he compare to a bowl of love porridge made by a handsome boyfriend? Oh no, I mean ex-boyfriend. Cough, cough. Shen Zining coughed frantically, trying to stop her from digging her own grave. Unfortunately, it was too late. Liu Ruyan said angrily, "Get out!" Gu Mengqi grabbed the thermos and left just like that. Such a rotten temper. No wonder Lin Feng won't come back. If it were me, I wouldn't come back either. After saying that, she disappeared. Shen Zining chased her out and scolded her. You clearly know she's unhappy, and you still deliberately rub salt in her wound. You're really something else. Gu Mengqi pouted. Even you know that Lin Feng is the one in her heart. She's the only one who's too stubborn to admit it. If she wants him to visit her, she should just say so, instead of pretending all day. By the way, Zining, how about you give her a little push? I finished my morning run. After showering, I came out. I saw on the balcony a row of green succulents of different shapes. There was an additional pink one. I gently poked it with my index finger. It was soft and tender. My mood also improved a bit. The phone on the table vibrated. I saw Shen Zining's name on the screen. Curious, I answered the call. Shen Zining, why are you calling me at this hour? Is something wrong? Brother Feng, how have you been lately? I'm fine. What about you? The chance has come. Shen Zining immediately sat up straight. My health isn't so good. I frowned. What's wrong? It's probably from staying up late and drinking, so my stomach is upset. Brother Feng, I don't know what's wrong either. I don't feel like eating anything right now. I'm just craving that stomach-soothing porridge you make. I'm really, really craving it. Do you think? Is it convenient?